enjoying ourselves during this part. I don't care what I do, dude. I don't, dude. Fucking, dude. He could say to mute myself, and be like, "Nah, I'll fucking be the only one."
I was definitely going rogue and just gonna talk mad shit throughout this whole.
Do it, dude. Bro. You won't do it.
You're still open.
I would just be like, "Yo, fuck James Gunn, fuck the Guardians, fuck
all them dudes, man."
And you know what? For sure, fuck Adam Warlock
and fuck the Little Mermaid. Fuck Ariel.
Everybody's gonna be fucking super surprised on our reactions today. It's gonna be funny.
Space G.
And what is up? Welcome back. It is Friday night. You're here with the Average Boys podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I am here, of course, with my co-host Trigger and Brian. I don't know if I'm pointing in the right direction, but I know you guys are somewhere in these blocks. How you guys doing?
What's going on?
Everybody's all buddies. Shit.
I was waiting for Triggs. Like I always wait for Triggs to go first.
I'm sorry, man. I was actually typing something out right now, and I was just
thing,
like,
yo, "You're on the show, bro. He asked you a question. Respond to the man,
goddamn question."
Yes, massive.
How y'all doing, man?
You can always rely on Triggs to take it straight to like the racist shit.
It's so man, and it's cool because it's Triggs.
Yeah,
it's because someone in the comments once said we call him with a hard R. Remember?
Oh yeah, they were like, "Oh, Trigger with the hard R."
Trigger with the hard R. I was like, "God damn it, dude! No fucking survival." What's up, boys? Let's go. Tell me what's going on.
Good, man. Dude, honestly, man, it's been an exhausting week for me, man. I've done so much driving. You know, we've had nothing but nonstop rain up in here in Austin, and so like my tires are starting to ball out a little bit. So I've actually hydroplaned a couple times, and I've been like, I'm gonna chill right now until the rain stops.
I know you're from the valley, dude, because once weather changes, you cannot drive for shit, dude.
No, I can drive. I've driven in pretty much every terrain imaginable, but still, dude, fuck that.
Well, good. Brian, how about you, man? How's weather up there in your area of the world?
It's fucking amazing. We finally got a weather break. It's warm. It's hot. You got all the windows open. I love it, man. Has
it been like too hot, or is it just casual?
It gets extremely hot here. No, it's been chill. It's been really good. It's been like in the 80s. I think it reached the 90s today.
Okay, I was about to ask, like, what's like really hot for you guys?
No, it can get like 98, but we have that humidity that kicks your ass up here. So it gets pretty wild. Yeah,
we had a pretty hot day this last couple of days. We've had some really weird weather changes, so we're supposed to get a big ass storm this coming week. So, something that we're all preparing for. It's gonna be good. What's up, Rob? What's up to everybody in the comment section? Thank you guys for jumping in. Had a cool week. I don't know if you guys saw. I cut this really badass music video today or last night, actually. We, of course, they had a launch party for a video game at a local GameStop. Of course, we know GameStop's been on the edge of destruction, and
they've closed like 400 stores across the country, dude.
Yeah, dude, they're dying, man. They're dying.
Dude, the original GameStop in the Valley was the first one to go. Blew my mind. Because I knew the GM over there, and he was like, I don't get it, man. Like, why they would close this one down? Because, like, dude, we've been here for like 20 years, man.
I mean, we're throwaways, man. The Valley is just one of those places that when you need to close some shit up and you need to save some cash, close it up in the Valley and open it up kind of closer to Oklahoma and everybody else, and we're good to go. Not here though, man. But last night,
do you guys actually go to GameStop? Like, you guys go into a GameStop?
Not anymore. Like, I don't. Yeah.
We know the thing. It's fucking super dumb expensive. Like, they always like have things overpriced, and then when you're gonna take something back to kind of sell back, they're very much fucking they lowball you with the shit that you want to sell back and give you credit and stuff. So a lot of people have moved away from using it, and them as a company have suffered, which you've seen in the last couple of things. I didn't even read what that guy said.
Don't.
Wow.
I guess hello, dude. Welcome to the chat. We don't really talk that kind of stuff, but Chill. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that stuff, man. You're stressing yourself out, man. Chill out. Have a burger and chill the fuck out.
Have a burger.
Yeah, chill the
Make
fuck
sure
out.
it's kosher.
Yeah. What was it? Yeah, we did a show last night. It was really cool. We had 3 bands perform, metal bands. One of them was a death metal band and it had first ever GameStop kids mosh pit. It was wild. A bunch of metal bands are now sharing the post. It's kind of hit like this viral thing. It's really, really cool to see. It was a fun
Dude,
event.
a metal magazine actually shared it, dude. Revolver.
Yeah, Mags. Lamb of God shared it.
Joe Magliano.
Joe Magliano shared it. The fucking dude that was from
Slade
what
Wilson.
Is it? Yeah,
the Snyderverse Slade Wilson.
Slade or whatever from the DC Universe Snyderverse. The dude that's Mr. Dungeons and Dragons himself. It was a very fun event. I got to create a music video about it. Our band 40 Caliber Kiss with Ramsey Ramirez was out there. Did an amazing job. Ramsey happens to be the head owner of South Texas Comic Con. He has a band called 40 Caliber Kiss. They put on an amazing show. Everyone had a great time. This is something that I really hope it's kind of like we do this again. I don't even care if it's for another game. I think it was just so fun. And yeah, I can't complain. I didn't really go in GameStop though. There was nothing about GameStop that really was like, yeah, fuck yeah, GameStop. The camaraderie and the community and everything that was outside was fucking awesome. If you get a chance, go check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. It's on my Facebook. Yeah, man, go like, share, and dig it. Other than that, yeah, it was a pretty chill weekend. Of course, we had the opportunity to go see. We all got caught up. We got to see the Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We're going to be talking about that spoilers later. But for now, let's talk about some fucking regular news, boys. What have you guys heard? What's going on? Anything cool?
I mean,
there's one.
I know, like I knew that we kind of like talked about it a little bit offline. Like it kind of was a bit of a slow week, but I mean, we definitely got some little bit of news, man. Some Beetlejuice news. Jenna Ortega's gonna come out in it. Finally, confirmed that she's gonna play Winona Ryder's daughter.
How do you guys like this girl, the one from Wednesday? What's her name?
Jenna Ortega.
Jenny Ortega, right?
I mean, she's a great horror actress. That's really like her niche.
Okay. Isn't that called, what do they call those girls in horror films? They're called final girls, aren't they?
Or scream queens or whatever.
Scream queens. Yeah. Scream queens. That's a good point. So like, is she like, do you guys feel like she's like the newer variation of it now?
Well, I mean, she's like what, 20 years old or something like that. I mean, it's definitely her generation to thrive. She came out in X. She came out in 2 Scream movies, a bunch of other horror stuff. Wednesday is like kind of like horror comedy sort of thing. I mean, dude, she's doing some pretty good stuff, man.
First off, I gotta ask. This goes for both of you. Your favorite scary movie? Top 3. Let's go top 3 because that makes it a little bit more like it's kind of hard to choose than one, I guess. But what are your top 3 scary movies?
I'll go first. I would want to say Nightmare on Elm Street 4 is number 1 for me. Then I would have to say after that the original Scream was pretty dope for me.
Okay.
And like horror.
I guess suspense would sit in that too, right? If you wanted to.
No, suspense and horror are kind of separate, but like then you also have like the slasher movies that like kind of fall in like even in their own separate category and stuff.
Okay. No, I just wanted to clear that up real quick.
I
still got one more, man.
Still got one more.
Is it gonna...
I don't know. I mean, I guess I could put like Aliens or something like that. Something
Alien?
like that. Yeah, Alien.
All right, that's badass. Do we
if I really sit there and think about it, I can come up with a better list, but just off the top of my head, like those are the 3 that as a kid I remember watching and being scared fucking shitless.
Nice. Okay. Triggs, what about you, man?
Number 3 would actually probably have to be Scream, the first one. The second one, I'm in. You see, and I'm not a huge horror fan, So hold on, let me check my fucking.
Hereditary was good.
Oh wow, yeah.
Scream was good. I mean, Scream. The Ring was good.
So this is kind of like a comedy horror, but Fright Night, the new Fright Night, that came out in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, and then number one for me, would have to be absolute have to be the original Exorcist.
Okay, bet good stuff.
Yeah, because that's I mean I think I saw that when I was like 7, maybe 9 years old at the oldest, and man, it scared the piss out of me.
I don't really want to like go off and think about like, okay, cool. Like, what were the ones that like?
Oh man, those are some good ones, man. Yeah, those are some really good ones.
Everybody's putting some really good ones in the comic section. Thanks, Rick, for jumping in the comments. Those are some great horror calls, man.
Yeah,
me, it's going to be Serpent in the Rainbow. That was an old school movie that was pretty freaky. Of course, there's Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, good name drop, dude.
Yeah, and my last one, Brian's gonna fucking hate this, but I do got to go back to 13 Ghosts.
I mean, I won't hate it because I'm a fan. Like I wouldn't hate that.
I just say it because of the fucking that Halloween special we did where it beat out like all the fucking badass ones.
It went pretty deep. It was D the one. D's the one that had.
D was the one that was super
like that.
fuck. You couldn't believe it won.
I just honorable mentions just off the top of my head now. I'm thinking about it. The original remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was really fucking.
I really like that one too. Yeah, that is a really good one.
That's a really good one. The original Psycho. I remember that I watched that anytime that it's fucking on.
Yeah, American Psycho.
Not American Psycho, but just a regular Psycho.
Oh yeah, that's more of like a psychological, right? A psychological thriller.
Yeah, I guess. But listen, American Psycho is one of my favorite fucking movies of all time, bro.
Yeah. But what would you? What would you like categorize that as? Like a psychological thriller?
I don't know if that would be horror, right?
That's more like a suspense, like a psychological suspense,
a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
What about
Blair Witch?
What about Final Destination?
It was cool.
Yeah, I think it's more in the sense of how people were put into those bad situations that in your mind you're like, fuck, that could happen to me. It never fails. Every time I'm traveling behind an 18-wheeler with a bunch of logs, like I 100%, I'm like, fuck this, I am not behind this lane. But what about Event Horizon?
Super good one. I really like that one.
Ryan, what about you, man? It looks like you're kind of.
I fucking loved that one too.
It's okay. I don't know if I would put it on like a list.
Yeah, like a tops or whatever. I thought it was really good. Whoa, okay. Fun fact: Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Psycho are both based on the same guy. Might have to put something in the comments about that. I'm gonna have to need a little bit more of an explanation. But guys, I have to ask. The reason why I kind of brought that up is because Evil Dead Rise came out, and a lot of people had their ups and downs about it. Did you guys get to hear about Evil Dead Rise?
A lot of people were praising it. A lot of people were saying that it's good.
I would have to go with my resident authority on that movie, and that would be my wife. She's a huge horror fan, and when it comes to horror, and like I'll ask like if a movie is good horror wise, I'll let her kind of tell me.
If you're in the comment sections and you got the opportunity to see Evil Dead Rise, put it in the comments about what you guys thought of it and what you guys thought was pretty cool. For some reason, I am a big fan in knowing that, okay, so Army of Darkness is probably one of my favorite cult classics, like back in the day. I love that movie. I've seen literally every iteration that you can think of, which is like the one where he goes into the future, the one where he goes back to his normal time, when he goes back to the past, like in the very end of the movie. But they recently came out with this movie, and they mentioned that there are 3 Necronomicons, like that there are 3 books of the dead. And I, of course, when you watch the old films, you didn't really consider that because you just thought it was the single one. But apparently, that every one of these deals with like a different multiverse, or like a multiverse of the Army of the Dead, or I don't really know how that goes. Someone will have to explain that in the comments. But apparently the 3 books that Ash goes to the cemetery of the dead to get the Necronomicon, every one of those books is a actual Necronomicon that deals with a different person. Did you know that? Did you guys know that about the story by chance? I know it's not like you guys aren't probably like huge. Brian's like, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, man. But
I've watched one of those Evil Dead movies, and so
I have to ask. Okay, let me bring that back. Did you guys see Army of the Dead?
I've seen all the
what
movies.
Is it? Evil Dead,
Army of Darkness. Evil Dead, Army of Darkness. I've seen them all.
Okay,
but like they're mostly comics. They're comical movies.
Yeah, they're.
Well, I know
that
the current Evil Dead ones are more like slasher, like almost comedy slasher movies, like almost like Tuck and Dale, except not quite as comedious.
Okay. Well, okay. So the reason why they kept that style of the comedy part of these was because of the way the path of the first three movies went. The first one of the Evil Dead was serious, but they brought in Bruce Campbell. And Bruce Campbell is a very
comedic guy,
action hero style person, and delivers a bunch of crazy one-liners. So his character style was very not popular in those style of movies back in the day. So it was almost like you had an Arnold Schwarzenegger in Texas Chainsaw Massacre or in Jason Voorhees movies, where like he would kick Jason Voorhees down the stairs and he's like, watch your step or whatever, just some stupid one-liners every time they did some shit. Well, Bruce Campbell's character always did that in the first film, where in the second film, they just went a little bit more, I guess they just let it go a little bit more. And then Army of Darkness, they just like fucking like, forget it, bro. Like this movie doesn't make sense anymore. Let's just fucking take it as is. But the cult classic was that Evil Dead went really well. Evil Dead 2 was but Army of Darkness fucking killed it. It killed it in the comedy scene. So now you have this revamp of these movies that are coming back, and they're very serious. The first movie of Evil Dead that was redone with the girl, Ashley, it had its moments where like it was like a bloody film, but it did have some kind of cool comedy parts where the character like got their toughness and they would do their one-liner. And I dug it because I kind of felt like it was like a nod of the hat to the old school films. But I wanted to see if anybody had seen the new film to tell me if they've kind of like gone on that pathway of still keeping that Bruce Campbell comedy or making it to where it's like, no, we're kind of pushing more specifically for the horror film. So I'm kind of excited. I wanted to see it. So I didn't know if you guys got to watch it. So I wanted to ask. But also with that, Beetlejuice 2. From what I heard about Beetlejuice 2 is there's a possibility that Michael Keaton's coming back. Did you guys hear about this?
To me, that's like making a Tim Burton Batman movie without Michael Keaton.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, I don't know if you guys just feel it, but we've seen the recent trailers of the Flash movie, and he doesn't look that far bad, dude. I mean, you could put this guy in some makeup, make him still look like old school Beetlejuice. I mean, it wasn't like he was trying to maintain his looks back in the day with it. Do you think he can pull it off, a new Beetlejuice kind of style movie, or what?
Yeah, 100%.
Brian, what do you think, man?
It's Michael Keaton, bro. You can do anything. You can do whatever he wants, man. I'm a huge fan.
Oh, dang. So Robert says, the movie Evil Dead Rise is a little more serious. There was a freaking elevator scene that was so crazy. So much blood. And then Jeremy, what's up, Jeremy? Nice to see you in the comment section, my bro. He says, well, Evil Rise was completely more serious.
I honestly heard that that movie, the Evil Dead movie, Evil Rise, they didn't get 2 Fs, bro. Like they were like everyone was.
They went wild.
Yeah, like everyone was getting it, and I'm here for it, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. I just haven't got a chance to see it yet.
Yeah, there's a part of me. I'm not really big on a lot of these recent movies that have been coming out when it comes to like horror. Of course, I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago that for the corniness of it, because I'm a fan of the story, I think it's cool. I'm kind of excited to see what they're gonna do with the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. It's kind of like my next horror film that I'm for sure gonna go watch. But when I saw that they were coming out with this one, and then I saw the trailer and the makeup they used on the mom and everything looks really, really good. Like everything looks really good. So it's exciting to hear that someone got to check it out in the comment section and said it was really good. And Rick says, absolutely.
No. You gotta say his whole name, bro. That's absolutely.
Really good name.
What's his name? What's his name?
Michael John Douglas.
Yeah.
Michael John Douglas.
His name is Wrong Hole Rick, bro. You gotta say that whole name, bro. That's
I thought you meant Michael Keaton's name. He's like, no.
That's a good one.
That's a good nickname. That's a good screen name. Yeah, but yeah, it would be really cool. So it's just rumors right now about Michael Keaton coming back. Of course, we know that they're gonna revisit the Beetlejuice 2 movie scene. Beetlejuice 1, of course, cult classic, super good movie.
I heard the whole cast was coming back, which is weird because how the hell are you gonna bring Alec Baldwin back? That would be weird.
Oh, that would be really weird.
So he's not officially listed, but I know that they're probably like discussing things with him pending his trial or whatever. But yeah, they even have Catherine O'Hara.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was acquitted. No, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
So I mean, they can bring him back now.
Well, yeah, because I know for sure they're bringing back Catherine O'Hara. You know,
I heard the whole cast was coming back. That's what I heard.
That'd be really exciting. I mean, with the respect that they gave to the characters in the Addams Family, with Christina Ricci and a lot of the characters kind of making their debuts back. A lot of people didn't know and didn't take into consideration that the therapist in the Wednesday show is actually the little blonde-haired girl that Wednesday fought at the camp. And the other one was, I think, like the brother was one of the characters or one of the fathers or one of the teachers to the students. So like a lot of the people from the original, I mean, you can't have like Raul Julia come back or whatever, but a lot of the people that are characters that are still around and respected were able to still come back in the Wednesday show.
For sure, Christina Ricci, like she was like the
she made main, that was a prominent story, dude.
Yeah, like she was like the main villain, like one of the main villains in the Wednesday story.
It was really cool, man. I mean, just to see him be able to come back and get to reprise some type of role and be a part of the franchise, that's really cool. I really like it when they do that kind of stuff. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. So to have Michael Keaton come back, to have, I mean, yeah, Alec Baldwin come back, to see him older, have a kid or something, and still have his weird little town or whatever.
Keep guns out of this man's hands, though.
Yeah.
Yo, honestly, now that I think about it, I love Michael Keaton as Batman, but his performance as Beetlejuice is probably my favorite performance. Like,
honestly, I could probably agree with that.
Yeah,
that's range, dude. That's some really, really good range for like for an actor for an actor like to go to those two extremes like that. I mean, dude, back in the late 80s, I mean, you never saw that.
In fact, I'll bring in
not that I remember
80s pop culture aficionado on the subject. I'm going to bring this man in and tell us, yo, what's up,
Mr. Betancourt's going to be like, actually,
gentlemen, I have Michael Keaton on speed dial. Yeah. Mike, what's up, man? How you doing, brother?
Doing all right. Yeah, I heard you guys needed me to come in and talk some shit. Maybe upset Brian a little bit to see how it goes.
Talk some shit.
Everybody in the comment section, say what's up to Michael Betancourt. It's always good to have you on the show, brother. It's been a while. I feel we haven't had you on, and being that we have, of course, Star Wars talks and all that stuff, I want to be able to get your information. Thank you for hitting me up the other day. He did a bro check on me, and I was so happy about it, Mike. It made me so happy that you hit me up, and it was like,
make sure you're all right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That made me really happy. And
were you dying?
Then I had to send him the video of I guess at one of the fucking theaters around the nation, someone accidentally overlapped the Transformers movie with the Little Mermaid. So people were like, "Oh, whoa, this is the best crossover ever." So it's like the Little Mermaid film and Transformers and stuff. I was like,
This multiverse is awesome.
Yeah, the multiverse is real, bro.
I'm saying we have Sharktacons. We can do it. We really
can. Mike, what's been going on? How you been doing, man?
Doing all right. Been busy as always, traveling, preparing stuff for a new show that we got going on.
I was going to say, tell us about that show. I saw that, man.
What's going on?
We are developing a horror and sci-fi show called The Psychotronic Spree.
That's right, man. Cool. Yeah.
Okay. So wait. You literally just missed a segment. We were talking about like
horror. That's
top three horror films, brother.
The three of us named our top 3 horror movies. What are your top 3 horror movies?
Okay, for myself, horror comedy included Critters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, okay. This is gonna get wild.
Hey, if you're gonna do that, Critters is taking a backseat to Gremlins. Then come on, bro. Let's be serious.
I will give Critters over Gremlins because there's actual blood and gore.
Yeah, because Gremlins is more of like a fun.
Gremlins is god tier, bro. Come on.
Yeah, it's good.
It's
but that's like a family film, man. That's like a family horror film.
Gremlins is a family film.
Yeah, straight. It really is. Dude,
I stand my ground that Gremlins is a Christmas movie.
Oh, come on.
It's like Die Hard. It's like Die Hard people saying it's a Christmas movie.
Dude, yeah, man. If we're talking about horror comedy, then Slither, and Beast. Yeah, and Beast, we're like the main hero dies like his first introduction and then boom, dead.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Straight horror, Halloween, the original for me.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis's performance, Michael Myers, he's set in stone what I consider to be the boogeyman, aside from what we get in the real Ghostbusters cartoon. Yeah, I know it was really, really
And what
good.
about your third?
My third for 80s, what would have been torture porn now? I'm gonna say Hellraiser, the first one.
Torture.
Okay, yeah. He's going with the good shit. He's going with like the real good stuff.
And I'll tell you right, I just finished the audiobook for the book that was Hellraiser was based on.
Nice.
And man, that was horrifying. I've never had somebody scare me with the description of a dream. And yeah, Clive Barker is a horror.
Oh, Clive Barker's a genius, dude.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? I don't want to go back to horror, but where would you guys put like the original Saw on horror? Would you guys?
Oh, the original one? No, that one is. Yeah,
would you categorize that as horror?
To me, that kind of sits in the same genre as like the Shudder movies. Like it's very like it's more. It's not necessarily horror to me. Rather of like the ones that do like the Puzzle Box movie or whatever. Like
Wishmaster,
like torture horror, I guess.
Yeah,
like a torture horror kind of thing. Yo, Candyman was legit. The original Candyman was fucking. That scared the fuck out of me.
That movie scared the shit out of me. I'm not gonna
lie. Some dude with a hook that'll shove it in your ass when you're taking a shit. I was done, bro. I was like, yeah, I'm not about this life, dude.
Or Species, speaking of that.
Yeah, except
Species is more sci-fi for myself than
Species was a good movie.
Yeah, but like kind of horror-ish, kind of had like a sci-fi.
Well, that would be considered like a Deus Ex Machina too.
It's a really weird mix for me because I wouldn't consider Aliens to be horror. For me, Aliens is sci-fi. And that's where I say with Species
horror,
also.
Though. It's a sci-fi
because
horror.
it is. It's scary. It's a really weird cross mix, and that was
and that's why with horror, there's so many like subgenres. Like you got your slasher movies, your psychological thrillers, your your torture porn, your gore movies, and your straight just like. Lovey,
I'm glad you mentioned it because I'm gonna use that to segue back into my show so I can go ahead and product.
There you go.
Yeah,
but no, that's why we named it the psychotronic spree. Psychotronic is actually a term used to discuss a whole subgenre of horror and sci-fi. That is the B movies, the torture porn, the weird.
Is that like the like clown, like alien clowns from space, sort of shit?
Clowns from space kind of deal. Mars Attacks, aliens. Life Force, if you remember that one from the 80s. It's,
yeah.
So that's why we named it that. So we cover the bases, and you can kind of enjoy everything.
What did you? I've never got your opinion on this. But what do you think of Serpents and Rainbow?
So it's a classic, and it's a weird one.
Yeah,
you have to be in the right mood. Either you're gonna have to be really high for it, or you're just really into the weird.
Yeah, because that was one of my favorite scary movies. That was like scary to me. That one and Cannibal Holocaust.
No, okay.
But that's like, it's not scary because it's scary. It's scary because of like the shit that happens to the people. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh no, this is grotesque. It's like Army of Darkness. Like you don't consider not Army of Darkness, but Faces of Death. It's like that. Those were just VHSs they sold at the dollar store or at the video store. But Faces of Death, everybody saw if you rented movies. But you wouldn't consider that horror. You just consider that like smut or something.
Well, I mean, they were snuff films, basically.
Yeah.
And that's where I sit with Saw. Saw is not a straight horror film.
Yeah.
Saw is a psychological thriller for me.
Okay.
Yeah, because it makes you consider, like, what if I was in that scenario? Would I pass? Am I morally well enough to get through his test and everything? So it makes you, in my mind, you doubt yourself.
For me, it crossed the threshold of like just the gruesomeness that qualifies as a horror movie for me. Like it's very gruesome, and yes, you're right. It's a very psychological mind fuck. But I think it crosses off all the check marks. But going back to your show, when is the launch date? Where can people find this? Tell us more. Like where
Yeah,
we
we
find
are
this.
actually going to be in Mercedes, Texas. Yeah, we partnered with a new venue out there near the Estero Llano State Park. We're going to be at the Llano Grande Resort and Event Center. It's going to be June 17th and 18th for the first one, and this is season 1. Yeah, the Event Center asked us to do 6 in a row. So we're going to go June, July, August, September, and October, bringing a special guest every month, and we'll be out there Saturdays and Sundays for everybody to go and enjoy sci-fi horror. We're going to create a team of girls called our Final Girls, and you'll get to apply to be a model, join us for our calendar. We'll sell that calendar at the end and do some crazy stuff.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. You put that it's an adult show.
Yeah,
of course, kids are invited. Yes,
plus only. So no,
we don't kids.
No kids. Yeah, we will have a waiver up front that if you're going to bring a child under the age of 18 and they have to be at least 13 and up, you will sign that waiver that we are not liable for what they will see, what they will experience at the show, and as a guardian, you give them permission to be there because you can do that in the state of Texas.
But is that going to be? Is that going to be more in the sense? Because I mean, of course, people are going to have questions as to why you're only allowing kids at that age and stuff. Yeah, because is that the fact, or is it more because of the grotesque nature of like the horror and things that might be like
column A and column B? We do have a pair of strip clubs that we'll be setting up.
We started.
And when is this again?
It doesn't take much for Rob to get. It doesn't take much.
On Main, no matter what.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure we clear that up, just so people know that it's not just like, oh, okay, cool, you're gonna come in and you're gonna be greeted by a dude in a giant dildo outfit. You know what I mean?
And mind you, every single one of my shows I've ever done is a family-friendly show. But we kind of figured that there just isn't an adult show, a place where you can go have your drinks, you can sit at the bar, you can go meet these celebrities, experience things that you want to experience, because everybody's kind of walking on eggshells. We don't want the kids to be scared, or we want the kids to experience something they shouldn't. So this one's for the grown-ups. You know, we are targeting specifically 18 plus.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Very cool. And is there anybody that you're going to be partnering up with? Any sponsors, anything like that you want to kind of give a shout out to real quick?
Can't announce just yet. So we're still waiting for the 2 strip clubs to sign on as sponsors.
Oh, yeah.
That's wild.
So once they do sign, we do have permission for them to have stripper poles there and stuff. So
I'm in. When is this again?
When is this again?
June 17th and 18th is the first one. Yeah, we are actually going to be dropping our first guest announcement this weekend. I'll let his name now. He's not a huge guy, but his name is Kirk Thatcher, and he's a special effects artist and actor throughout most of the 80s. He did the voices and puppeteer work for the Gremlins from Gremlins 2: A New Batch. He was in Critters. You actually saw him recently in A Werewolf by Night. He's the large bearded bounty hunter.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, very good.
So he's the one that tells you her makeup is nice and all that. So he'll be our first guest that we're bringing in to start off light, and then we have some crazy guests coming down the line.
Perfect.
Are you still working with that guy? What's his name? I forgot his name. Abel.
Yes, Abel's my business partner. He's a certain kind of crazy that I need to go with all these.
But you know what? I give him his fucking flowers because he knows his horror shit.
Oh, no,
he's been about that life for a long time. And I remember back in the day, like that he had got, I don't even know where it came from. And I still talk to him about it every time I see him, that he got the rights to Puppet Master.
Yep.
He had gotten the rights to the Puppet Master movies a long time ago. And I'm a huge fan of Puppet Master.
With Full Moon Features and Full Moon Studios.
That is so cool, dude. Like I used to love that shit back in the day. Puppet Master was like my shit.
Yeah,
that
actually, when we were helping Ramsey with HorrorCon, the first one, that's how we got the Puppet Master puppets there.
Connection. Mm-hmm. Okay, good shit. That was like, what was the name of that one that they had the fucking ball that would go around and kill people?
Like, I can't remember all the
Phantasm or Phasm.
It's the Phantasm series, and I can't remember the name of the evil guy.
Do you remember that series back in the day, Brian? The Puppet Master and all that shit.
Yeah, it wasn't for me though.
It wasn't like huge.
I know what it is. I just.
It was almost like a corny horror at first. No,
Yeah, it
because
was
the first one
really
was supposed to take itself
corny.
real serious, and then the second one it got like it was like we were talking about earlier, like the Evil Dead, where like the first one was like I'm gonna take it serious, it's gonna be scary, and people are gonna dig it, and then something makes it a little silly, which was in the first Evil Dead, Bruce Campbell's one-liners and the way he just carried himself, and then that kind of took priority in the second film, and then fucking Army of Darkness came out and they were like, fuck it, we're just gonna make a movie about Bruce Campbell fucking fighting some knights and shit. It's gonna be real weird, but we'll love it anyways. I always felt like that was the way the fucking Puppet Master series went. At first it was super serious, and then they made like the Six Guns guy, and they made the other characters real silly. The Jester character is so fucking badass. So I don't know. It's one of my favorites. Not top-notch horror, but just favorite horror B movies. Mike, I have to ask you, what would you what would you feel if you heard that they were going to make and return to Beetlejuice 2, and there was a possibility that we were going to get Michael Keaton back as Beetlejuice himself?
Well, I've been following it since the rumors started years ago, and I'm excited that Michael Keaton's coming back. Yeah, if that's the film we get, Keaton is Beetlejuice, and we get a last hurrah for him as that character, then I'm on board. Yeah, Keaton is, he's just that character. Even when they did the animated series, I feel they based that animation off of Keaton's performance.
Good show.
That's where it's at.
Good show.
Excellent call. Well, that's really cool, man. I can't wait. Hopefully we do get a Beetlejuice 2. I'm not really familiar with it too much, but it's glad to hear that someone does know that Michael Betancourt's been following this shit. But thank God, man. Thank God. That's really cool. Guys, I got to ask you, I know this is a fucking out of field left shot uppercut kind of violence, but I have to ask you based on things that I do for an everyday living. But we got a face off this past week for Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. Guys, I have to know, what do you think of this shit? Michael, are you follow this shit too? You follow sports stuff?
Fuck, I don't follow Jake Paul at all, man. That guy's
like, off this earth, dude. You're like, I hope he gets his ass whipped. But boys, I gotta ask.
Let me ask. No, I'm gonna ask you a question. Don't ask us shit. I want to ask you a question, sir.
Yeah.
Why is this entertaining? Why do you want to see Nate Diaz fight Jake Paul?
No one gives a shit about Nate Diaz as a fighter. They give a shit about him for what he does on an everyday basis. If you give that guy a fucking camera and just follow him, that would be the most entertaining shit since, I don't know, Kanye's little weird rant that he went on a couple months ago. Like, he's the dude that you just follow. Like, literally last month, this motherfucker choked out an impersonator that looked like Logan Paul. Didn't even know, but he just choked his ass out in the street in New Orleans when they were walking around.
All right, so you obviously you are a Nate Diaz fan, right? That's safe to say.
I mean, I'm a fan of MMA. I don't think he's the best boxer ever, and I think he's going to lose this fight.
Can we consider this MMA? I mean, that's my
Mike, I'm getting there. Mike, I'm getting there.
Go for it. My bad.
You respect Nate Diaz, right? You respect him as a fighter,
most definitely.
Correct?
Yeah.
Him fighting Jake Paul, him beating the shit out of Jake Paul. What
work.
does this do for Nate Diaz as a fighter?
Nothing. The guy, he still has a job. Like, he still has to make money. You know what I mean? And he doesn't make money unless, he's a smart guy now. He wasn't a smart guy when he first started off, and of course, he made a career. Now he knows that he puts his money behind different things. He sells stuff based on, the open marijuana that he likes to do. He has his own farming area. He has his own products and stuff like that. He's made his he's made his finances where he needs to. So right now he just knows if he takes a fight against Jake Paul, he's going to make $1 million. Like, he knows that.
But as an MMA guy, right?
He's going to make $1 million.
But I understand that. But as you as an MMA guy, where is the appeal to this to you?
Nothing. Nobody in our sports likes this shit.
Okay.
The reason why is because it makes us all look bad.
Okay.
That's what it literally, like, think about it. Like, if you break it down, 4 years ago, MMA was the most rivaling sport to boxing ever in Vegas.
It kind of overtook boxing.
Yeah, you know this. You know what I'm talking about. And then all of a sudden, you had a couple of kids from YouTube start a boxing division that blew the fuck out of boxing on a normal structure. No other fucking fights had ever made that kind of money other than a Canelo fight, a Lomachenko fight, or a.
What do you know about Lomachenko?
Bigger huh?
What do you know about Lomachenko, yo?
I know a lot about Lomachenko.
Who do you have?
I work in a boxing gym that's been here for 35 years.
Who do you have, Lomachenko or Haney, right now?
Haney's a bad motherfucker, man.
Who do you have?
Well, we were just talking about this past week at the gym, and I was going for Haney. I think Haney might take him down.
Lomachenko's gonna beat that guy's ass.
I don't know, man. The thing is that kind of follows in the. I know we're kind of going off subject, but that kind of goes off of what happened to Fedor Emelianenko a while back, right before he started losing to like Shogun Rua and Silva and stuff. What he did was he went and put out documentaries and videos of what he does for training, and it encouraged other fighters to take in those kind of actions. And you have Lomachenko, who had, you know, for years dominated the boxing ring because he trains as an Olympic fighter. It's a whole different fighting system compared to just boxing openly in the circuit.
He's over there trying to kill Russians right now, dude. Like,
well, he has to because he has no one else that wants to spar. He has no one else that wants to spar with him. But that's the difference, is that he
just goes up to Russians. You want to fight?
No, but the reason why people
literally
don't want to
join
box
the
him,
army. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
the reason why it's hard for him to find partners to spar with is because he was trained as an Olympic boxer, not as a boxer from a gym. And with that, you're going off and you're training with dudes that are like hyper detailed. You're doing specific trainings for specific work. Points and everything is scientific. So like his dad was like, you need better footwork. So I'm making you learn how to dance. I'm putting you in ballet. I'm putting you in the Russian ballet work. When you're done with training and you're already pushed to your limit, I'm taking you upstairs. You're gonna have to climb 2 flights of stairs. And when you get to the top of the stairs, there's a Jenga thing or a fucking operator toy, and you gotta like detail work as you're hyper exhausted.
And this is the guy. And this is the guy you said that's gonna lose. This is the guy.
But the Harper kid, this kid that's coming up, like, or yeah, what is it, Dan Harper, right? Or what's his name?
Devin Haney.
Yeah, like the thing is it's the younger crowd. You know, you get
Lomachenko. That's the only knock. That is, I will agree. That is the only knock. Lomachenko is a little bit gray in the hair. Yeah. I will give you that. But I mean that TO fight, which I still think Lomachenko won. I think he got robbed.
When he opened up in the later rounds,
he opened up in round 6. I want to say round 6. Round 6, he kind of opened up, and but after he opened up, what happened?
Oh, he was winning, but he opened up like in the fucking last round, and he didn't make it by points. He just lost all the rounds ahead of it. He just lost. I mean,
that was his dumb mistake.
And that's a given. Like, but that's the problem, is that he has to find ways to make it challenging. You know what I mean? Okay. It's almost like he's losing interest in it. So
that's enough. We're
fucking excited. I can hold a whole conversation about Lomachenko. Yeah. It's a fucking beautiful boxer, guys. If you guys haven't seen him, it's a fucking genius.
He's a master.
The thing is like with the concept of Jake Paul and Nate Diaz, this isn't going to be a great fight. Not for Nate Diaz. It's not going to be. Jake Paul's probably going to win this fight. You look at him on stage, you look at him against Diaz. Diaz has height. Jake Paul can box, man. Like, I give it up to him and I give him his flowers. He's not great. This Fury fight that he just did in the last one, it didn't go good for him. It did not go good. Fury literally outboxed him. But there's no way that Fury loses against a Nate Diaz. Because Diaz, he strikes in such an awkward, interesting way for MMA, but it's not clean for boxing. It's just not clean for boxing. It's a whole other sport.
Yeah, this is our fault, yo. As like society, why this is like a thing.
Why this is big.
And that's my situation on this.
This is our fault.
This is not something that benefits the sport
at all,
or the art form of it, or the martial art of it. This is smart,
speculative. It's speculative. It's
celebrity deathmatch, dude.
Yeah, it's just literally what it is, and financially, it'll be a hit. Whoever the hell
is gonna
put money
fucking
behind
rock
it is gonna make a lot of money.
We're gonna buy this shit, and it's our fault.
Yeah, and it's all right. I mean, right now there's a closer opportunity to see Keanu Reeves fight Sylvester Stallone in a boxing match more than it was in the 80s. You know
I will pay for that.
You see, like, but it's not even for the match. It's just a spectacle. I mean, let me ask you. There was no fucking way that when Mike Tyson retook this fight like 3 years ago, that anyone watched it in the sense that they were going to unlock some fucking hidden key to boxing. We only wanted to watch it because of the spectacle.
I didn't
watch these two retired. Why? Because you were like, I'm not going to watch that shit.
No, because I was alive and coherent during his reign. Yeah, like I remember who Mike Tyson is and was.
Yeah, because that wasn't him in the last fight.
I don't want to see that shit.
Yeah, that wasn't him in the Roy Jones fight. You could see that just age and everything.
It is something that, pop culture alone has taught us to expect. I mean, we saw Rocky Balboa fights, Hulk Hogan in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
We see
Thunderlips.
Thunderlips. We see these versus battles that shouldn't be happening, but they're happening.
I mean, as a matter of fact, right now we see Bad Bunny fighting are literally running a whole entire fucking course.
Great match.
On the WWE. Hey, whatever
Great
it
match.
is, I've heard
I will
people
have to
say
give
it's
to
great,
Brian, I
Great
am
match.
not a Bad Bunny fan. My little sister loves
Great
this
match.
dude.
but it's
And
enough
I
to be
sat down to watch
entertaining.
this match, and wow, damn, he did good.
Great
It's enough to be
match.
entertaining. It really is, man.
Even as a casual fan, you have to tip your hat. But as a fan like I am, dude, he did his thing.
But you know what's crazy is like that guy that, like, you look at Bad Bunny jumping into it. You look at Jake Paul jumping into the wrestling scene. You look at all these people that kind of like casually jump in and do their thing. Where you had David Arquette, who jumped into WWE, and no one gave a flying fuck about him.
He was actually the champion, the WCW
but he was good.
champion.
It's because he was an actual like fan, right?
Oh, hold
Yeah.
on, we got to put some respect on Arquette's name because of that.
Yeah,
movie.
Scream and
No,
all that
he is
stuff.
critically acclaimed as the worst WCW champion of all time, by the way.
Yeah,
That's like
I've heard
a
stories.
black eye on the WCW reign, like back in the day, that Arquette actually won the championship back in the day. That's not.
But he
good
brought a
thing.
lot of popularity to the scene of wrestling back in the day, also because he was such a big fan. What did he made that movie? Didn't he? Wasn't he in a movie about it?
Ready to Rumble.
Ready to
Wasn't that the
Rumble.
one with the fucking DDP guy,
Yeah,
the
DDP.
diamond upside down as a pussy? and all
Macho
that
Man
shit?
was in it. Yeah,
Bro,
there's a
that
lot of
movie
people
was
in it.
fucking hyped as shit.
Dude,
That was a funny
what
movie.
was it?
Sal
Steve Kahn?
Bandini.
Mhm.
Steve
Yep.
Kahn was also in that movie.
That was
Yeah,
a
we had-
fucking fun
we had
movie, man.
Goldberg and Sting, and
It was a lot. Of
Yeah,
It was
dude.
good, man. It was good. So it's so cool to sometimes. It's so different now to see like a lot of these actors come in and actually want to get like, no, I want to do a real boxing fight. Like, fuck, I was just talking about this the other day where I was like, yo, I gave an invite to Froggy Fresh, the dude who made My Girlfriend Fucking Loves Chris Helmsworth or whatever. I don't know, I'm talking the rapper guy. He was gonna be on Creator Clash, which is a boxing fight for YouTubers. And I was like, yo, dude, you live in Austin. If you want to fucking learn, I got you, bro. I've been a fan of yours for years. I'll fucking teach you every day, dude. 5 hours a day. Let's go. I don't want you to lose. But just knowing that he was gonna take a box, this guy's like 3 feet tall, bro. It's not even on the map. But I didn't want him to lose. I just thought it was so fucking funny to watch him win a box. It's so silly, just a spectacle. But what I like about those matches is because I know those guys don't know how to fight, so I know it's going to be a silly boxing fight. It's like watching new kids fight at the gym. It's funny. There's something fun about it. But
All
with
right.
Jake Paul and Nate Diaz, though,
Who do we have? Or do we have Jake Paul
Jake
or
Paul.
Nate Diaz? We have Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. I'm going Jake Paul.
Triggs. Give me a winner here. Who do you got?
Yeah, I really do have to say Jake Paul because like right now that like is his study. That is
Yeah.
his martial art. It is boxing. And right now Nate Diaz is going into a boxing match. He's not
Yeah,
going
it's
into an MMA fight. Like
It's gonna be rough.
like this is like he's a really, really good stand-up artist, but I mean he's also he's a black belt in BJJ, right?
Yeah, he's a black. Him and his brothers.
Yeah.
Michael Betancourt. Give me a winner. Who do you got?
I hate to say it because I hate the man that
Yeah.
core of my soul, but it's gonna be Paul.
Yo,
Yeah.
He
you
has more
guys are
experience under his belt.
smoking rocks, yo. Diaz is gonna chip this guy, yo. He is a
I don't know.
striker. Like Nate Diaz is a striker, by the way.
Is
He's a
he
fucking
though?
striker.
So is Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Tyrone Woodley, he smoked a lot of motherfuckers in stand up a long time ago.
My only
Look,
issue
I'm
with
telling
this
you.
here is that he needs to hit. To be a striker, you need a strike, and Paul has more footwork at this point. I mean, he's been training for this.
Yo, I hope he knocks his freaking block
No,
off.
no,
yo.
no.
That's what I
Don't get
hope,
me
bro.
wrong. Like, I was so happy Tyson Fury beat the fuck out of Jake Paul. Like, I was happy for that because then Jake Paul was like, yeah, like I lost. Like, he had to fucking explain himself. And that's like the worst part for a dude like that.
There we go. David, Rob, exactly. Let's go. Let's go.
But the problem is if you go back, you look, I'll bring it up. Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz.
Oh, God.
Conor McGregor was the smaller fighter
Conor
with the
McGregor?
smaller gas tank. And he still took Diaz's shit in the second fight. Still took his shit in the second fight. And he outboxed him. And Conor McGregor is accurate, but not a great boxer.
What happened in that first fight, though?
There was no way. There's no way Conor was ready for that bitch. There was no way Conor was ready for that. Conor bit off way more than he can chew. But for sure, like, it's just one of those things, like Diaz is not gonna go and he's an old dog, man. You're not gonna teach him anything new. Whatever he knows, he knows. Like Jake Paul, like when it comes to boxing, he didn't learn boxing as a traditional art form. He learned it all together, passing the fact that foundation is jiu-jitsu. Like it's just one of those things. Like okay, let me ask you, who do you think is the better boxer, Tony Ferguson or Nate Diaz?
Ferguson.
Why?
He's a better striker. I mean,
Why? What makes him a better striker? Because he hits targets with combos. Because Nate Diaz doesn't. He hits him with the 1-2. That's it.
That's it. He hits him with a 1-2. Ferguson hits you with a 3 or 4.
Combinations and accuracy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is Nate Diaz only has the 1-2. He's aggressive, has the 1-2, but Jake Paul's aggressive, and he has that crazy ass overhand. Crazy ass. I think it's going to be a good fight.
But that Diaz 1-2 is a motherfucker, though, bro.
I'm going to tell you one thing though. Nate Diaz can lose the fight, but if he slaps the fuck out of Jake Paul, he wins.
He's definitely gonna slap him.
The crowd goes nuts if he slaps. I don't know if he's gonna slap him with a glove on but he'll get it. And if he gets that slap in, dude, 100%.
It wasn't
100%.
Jake Paul supposed to do an MMA fight, or he backed out of that? Like, wasn't it like
it's still kind of up in the air? Yeah, it's still kind of up in the air. He already signed a contract for the company, and Nate actually, you know what? As a matter of fact, Nate Diaz is supposed to be his first fight, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I thought so.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be. Yeah, that would have been now that 100% Nate Diaz would clear his fucking clock.
Oh yeah, dude, not like no shot. Yeah, that would have been a no shot.
No
for Jake
shot.
Paul. 100%, he doesn't have the tools for that.
No shot.
No shot, dude. But yeah, boxing, you're tying Nate Diaz's like everything behind his back. You just put him in an awkward situation. But big up on Nate Diaz. I really hope he gets his fucking payout. It's gonna be a fucking fun fight. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait to see it. It's gonna be dumb as fuck, but
I won't see
love it. I love it. I'm gonna watch it just for the sheer excitement of it.
Sidetrack real quick, guys, and then it's a little on topic but off topic. Talking about fighting, I finally got to see Creed 3.
Yo,
and I'm gonna say that it was a fun movie but unnecessary. Like that, the storyline did nothing. The fight.
What did you think? What did you think of Jonathan Majors' performance?
Jonathan Majors performing there didn't seem too far off of the bad guy he's portraying as King. You know, the physicality was far stronger, and he was imposing his shit. Like he was a scary man. I would not want to stand up against him.
Yeah, he was the Mike Tyson character, right?
Yeah, he did great, but the story did nothing. Like that story could not have happened, and they just could have showed me the fights, and I would have watched the fights, and that'd have been fine.
Fair enough. Okay. I agree.
How did you feel with them talking about? Oh, we're taking inspiration from anime and stuff. I was like, how did you feel? Yeah.
You know,
did you get that? Like,
I saw it when he punches and you see almost the fist go through him on the
and like the
side.
wind, yeah,
the jewel hits. You know, that's basically Goku and Vegeta smacking the
Vegeta.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth, Chris.
But it did nothing for the story. Like there was no reason for those shots to exist. If there had been hey, we were anime fans at one point as kids, and you know that's why these scenes are happening because they're.
So it didn't work at all. It didn't work for you at all, Mike. Like none of the anime action.
The action was great. The fights were great. The way it was shot, the
story was trash.
Was wonderful, but the story did nothing.
The story was trash. I'm sorry. Like the story was trash.
And they gave us this side story that the daughter's beating the shit out of people at school. And then do nothing with it. Like there was no lesson to that daughter on why it was important to defend herself, but to hold back.
I'm just not over the fact that like it was literally 1 minute the mom's there, the next minute she's dead, and then he's grieving for like literally 5 minutes, and then he's back to normal. Like, we're back, and we're fighting,
dude. And not only that, but he's like made his mind. He's like, I'm gonna fight him.
I'm gonna fight him.
I'm gonna fight him.
In a matter of like 10 minutes. Like, everything we're describing happened in a matter of like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Fucking McDonald's eating a fucking
dude, and even Tessa Thompson's character, she's like, you gotta fight him. And he's like, yeah, you're right. I gotta fight him.
Gets a text message.
Yeah, I gotta fight him. And then on national TV, he was like, run it. All right, let's run it. Boom. Takes the earpiece off.
I love Michael B. Jordan, but that movie was horrible.
It was a little silly, dude.
If I was to go ahead and rewrite the scenes to make it make more sense for me, I would have had the daughter fighting at school, and then Major shows up and talks some shit or smacks the mom or something, and the daughter goes
or the daughter.
He has experience in that. He has experience, and then that's the reason. Like
Michael Betancourt trying to bring in reality and shit.
Yeah, but
it's not a reality show, Mike.
But the entire story didn't make any sense. Like there had to been a reason, even if it was anime inspired. Like Vegeta kicks the shit out of Gohan before Goku shows up. There's precedence for these stories that we didn't get in Creed.
Dude, and Goku didn't give a fuck that Gohan got beat. He was just like, he gonna learn. He's good. He's fine.
Yeah, he's
just
like,
don't tell Chi-Chi. Don't tell Chi-Chi. That was like the only thing he cared about. Don't tell my wife.
Kid, fuck that kid. You didn't beat me though. Go get the smoke, Vegeta. Vegeta's like, that's your son, asshole.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, okay, whatever, dude.
He's a nerd. Oh man, that's wild.
Mike,
Boys, okay,
I'm not over the
next
fact you just
subject.
said that he had to slap Tessa Thompson, but whatever. Right.
That was my favorite line.
I'm not over that.
That's gonna be my highlight of the episode. Just get Jonathan Majors beat his wife.
Yeah,
I'll be like, oh shit, fucking don't do that. Jonathan Majors,
next
like,
Indiana Jones movie to be Majors punching everybody's wives. That's all it's gonna be.
Yeah, the director Michael B. Jordan comes out and goes, I think it'd be pretty cool if we ad-lib this part, just having Jonathan Majors come and hit this girl, and Jonathan Majors just like.
This partially deaf woman just gonna slap the shit out of her. Yeah.
He's like, yo, Mike, cut that out. Don't add that in. Don't add that in. Too soon. Yo, guys, so we're gonna go ahead.
Story-wise.
We're gonna go ahead and go on to our next part, guys. We got some gamer news, and it's so good. We had a really cool show yesterday. Mike, I don't know, you were not in the Valley right now, or are you in town, or
no?
Were you out of town yesterday?
Couldn't make it. Was preparing some stuff.
It was pretty crazy, dude.
Yeah, my brother-in-law actually graduated from college today. He got his degree in electrical.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations, college grad. Use that shit. Now we go get work at McDonald's because that's all we got nowadays. Because that's where I'm
worried. He's a highly intelligent guy.
You guys paint a really bad picture of the Valley, bro. Like,
the Valley's rough, dude.
You guys paint a really bad picture. Bro.
It's a rough place. Do you make it here? You make it anywhere, man. Jesus. Yeah, we got some interesting cool for gamers news. Yesterday, like I said, we had a really cool launch parties. They had a launch for the game called Zelda
Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom. Triggs, the fuck is up with this story? Because Zelda's been around since I was like 5. He still has.
Dude, I mean, it's like the fucking 25th installment.
This motherfucker's still at work. He has to clock in to protect this place. Tell me what's wrong with this shit.
Well, from like the end of like Majora's Mask in like Ocarina of Time to the first one, the first Switch game, that was like 100-year gap. He'd been asleep for 100 years, and then like this one I think is like a 5-year gap or something like that. And I haven't gotten like the whole story yet. I kind of need to talk to Audrey about it because I have yet to get it, but there's like a whole bunch of like revamping of like the mechanics and stuff like that, a whole bunch of new items, and on top of that, this is like one of the best reviewed games in a very long time. Very long time. They had a
crazy release for a game called Redfall.
Redfall. It was trash, dude. It bombed.
Did you hear about that one, Brian, or no?
No, I haven't.
So that one was supposed to be a vampire story, right? Is that the vampire one?
It's like apes but vampires.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like GTA with vampires.
It's a solid mix of Apex and a Left 4 Dead system with a world overrun by vampires.
The only vampire game that is acceptable in my eyes is Castlevania, and I haven't played a Zelda game since the original Zelda, so I'm out.
Yeah, man. I took that shield and never went back, dude. I'm safe.
Yeah,
I took that. That old man was like, "Take this shield. It's dangerous out there." Never went back. I've been good. That man really saved my life, dude. But yeah, so that game, Red Dawn or Red Shit or whatever it was, failed miserably. The OS operating system, the characters, everything was really trash. Got shit on. The other game that recently came out that a lot of people were shitting on. What was the other game that just came out? Oh, fuck. Well, Tears of the Sun just came out, and Jedi Survivor.
Yep.
Jedi fucking Survivor, right?
Yeah, man.
So I know you guys are a lot more into the Star Wars field. Michael Betancourt knows a little bit about Star Wars. Just a little bit.
Only a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit of Star Wars mentality.
I haven't been following my damn life or anything.
Yeah. So the Cal Kestis story is such an interesting story. We have noticed that in trailers that Mark Hamill, the man, the myth, the legend, is right there alongside this man working with him. So we know that
PR thing, though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There could be a little, they don't ever do shit like that without there being a purpose.
I think that was a PR thing, but whatever.
I don't know, man. But I have a feeling like Cal Kestis is going to be ready to come out in the film soon. I think that this game does fairly well with setting him up. Really fucking well setting him up. But I'm going to let the tables over to Triggs and Brian because you guys know more about the game than I do.
I honestly want to know. I actually want to know because I know where Triggs is and how much of a fan of the original
Mr. Betancourt.
Game. But I want to know, Mr. Betancourt, are you a fan of the original game and a fan of that aspect of Star Wars?
100% yes.
Okay.
Jedi Fallen Order was a superb game, really well put together. The storyline is amazing. The explanation of all the sisters and the brothers where they stand within the Inquisitor Order, because they're not really Inquisitors, they are something else technically.
They're like an outside entity. I got it.
Yeah. And then Cal Kestis being an untrained and raw powered Padawan that comes into his own without being freaking Star Killer and ridiculously OP was great. It really produced a world where you can function in and grow in and become a part of. And I think that's the big win there for Jedi Fallen Order and whatever is people are enjoying Survivor so much now because you became invested. And it's been a long time since we've had games, and especially in the Star Wars realm, that you could invest in as a player and feel like I'm there.
You guys are gonna kill me because I had this argument not too long ago. I think they have Cal Kestis as an OP character, dude. Like I think
overpowered.
I think he's an OP character, dude. Like if you look at
fight Vader and say that.
I mean, okay, he ran away. He ran away.
He gets his ass kicked the whole fight.
Yeah,
it's pretty like the only thing you're doing is trying to survive that fight.
But you're basing him against like the OP of OP characters of all time.
You just said OP, dog.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you guys have to. I know where Brian's coming from because look at the way they power jumped Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan series, where he grabs a fucking spaceship out of the sky like nothing. Rey in the fucking last movie grabbed the ship out of the sky too. A lot of these characters for their moments get like these really weird like power boosts. And in the video game, Cal Kestis is a fucking motherfucker.
And Vader's pulled Star Destroyers out of the sky.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that's fair to say, oh, well, he ran away. It's Darth fucking it's Anakin, dude. Like Anakin is we know who
he's
he is.
Supposed to be the OP guy.
I can give you your points there, Brian. Yeah, Vader is something else, and Kestis is OP, but I think he's OP for the situation he's in.
Yeah,
he's fighting. I mean, stormtroopers, and he's going against an AT-AT, an ATST. He's going against these units that aren't meant to fight him.
Yeah.
But if you were to put him up against, let's say, at the height of his power, Darth Maul, there's a damn problem.
He beat the second sister. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, but you got to look at the way the sisters are built. The sisters and the brothers aren't trained to be Jedi or Sith. They are trained to
use the Force.
Members of those.
All right, and I love this argument. That's why I love having you on here, Mike. I love having you on here. We're talking about a Padawan that stopped training when he was literally super young. This guy is raw talent at this point. He goes up against a second sister and beats her, and then only does his run-in with Darth Vader that he has to like retreat. That was his only means of retreat the whole game. That is OP, dude.
Yeah, but you have to look into it if we're looking lore-wise. And man, I hate having to throw old shit at you.
You have to. You have to.
You're going to school me.
Look at what Cal Kestis really is. Yes, he's a Padawan that's untrained, but he's far more connected to the living force than any of the sisters would be. Now, Anakin drinks the force, whether the dark side or not. He pulls that stuff in his Betancourt or whatever they're out through the damn roof. He has a much stronger connection to the force than anybody else does. I mean, if we just look at raw power alone, Palpatine has to manipulate Vader to get Vader to do what he needs to do. Palpatine does not beat Vader into submission. Matter of fact, the only time Palpatine really hurts Vader is after Luke has fought him. Vader has to be weakened before Palpatine will step up and lightning bolt him. Because it's Anakin. And no matter what, Anakin is fucking horrifying. And whether he was a Jedi or the Sith, Anakin is scary as hell. And we see the same thing we see with Rey. Rey's not mindful of the living force, but because of the training she got from Leia, she's far more connected to it. So her emotions run wild. She gets angry and she's doing something different. So that's why she's able to try to pull that ship down, and she lightning bolts it in the end, destroys it. I guess spoilers if you haven't seen that 8 or 9 years ago.
I mean, yeah.
But
Yep.
you know that there's a connection to the Force that these characters have, like Rey and Cal. This is the way I read it. You know, Cal is OP for the situation he's in because he can draw from the Force in a different way. And without the traditional training of the Jedi, he does things that are non-traditional.
Yeah. That's my only point. There's literally no training. Triggs, what do you say? Like, what are your thoughts on the power sets of Cal Kestis from the old game to the new game? What do you say?
From the old game to the new game?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so from old game to new game, it's I think it's like a 5-year difference.
5-year gap, yeah.
Yeah. So like first and foremost, like you have somebody who's like who finally in Fallen Order is declared a Jedi Knight by a I mean
Jedi,
she wasn't
Jedi master.
Yeah,
she was a master. She was a master.
Was she?
I think so.
Was she though?
I think
Was she
so.
though? You know,
I mean,
if she was
adjacent,
yeah, right, adjacent, yeah,
maybe?
yeah, exactly. But he was appointed a Jedi Knight, right? Yeah. You know, so like he he did his thing. He became a knight, and like your first, like one of your first fights with an Inquisitor is with the second sister, and you're basically just trying to survive that fight, right? Mm-hmm. Gets interrupted, you continue on your thing, and then you fight the ninth sister, and this is all in Fallen Order, and you actually beat her, and then she takes off, and then you fight the second sister again, and like you actually win that fight, right? You actually win that fight, and then right after, boom, Vader. It's go time. Like everything that you've learned, you better put into go time. Into Survivor now, like you're kind of like he's already accepted exactly what he is, and he's been doing 5 years worth of training with his skill set, and on top of that, he's a very, very capable swordsman, and in like Jedi lore, you have like your swordsmen, and then you have your Jedis who are more like consulars, the people who are trying to be more connected to the Force than they are about the combat. And because you have like even in the Jedi Order, you have your combatants and you have like your shamans essentially.
Yeah.
And that's what like I mean, obviously, because of like the situation that he's in, got a lot like with what Michael was saying, is that the situation that he's in, he has to be a combatant. He can like it's not up to him whether he gets to
it's very holistic
delve into the Force as like a shamanistic character,
like a religion.
Yeah,
I think
it's more based on survival. He's using the skill as a survival skill, not as a religious skill.
I think it's very interesting to see if he does get placed in the Star Wars lore in the cinematic universe, if you will, how he's going to be portrayed. But I'm just saying, Chris, you've never played the game, right? You don't know anything about it, right? Just imagine you playing this game, right? And you have this main antagonist in the second sister where just periodically she just jumps in and just tries to fuck you up, right?
Yeah, it tries to fuck him up.
You gotta fend her off or whatever. You finally gets like this last stage. You're playing the game, it's the last stage, or it's the last, hurrah. You fight the second sister, and as soon as you beat her, you like exhale. Oh, finally beat her. And then as soon as you exhale, fucking Anakin shows up, bro.
Yeah. You're gonna get fucked.
I was like, yo, are you fucking kidding me, bro? I just spent like the last, and I played it on hard. I just spent like the last 5 hours trying to beat the second sister, and now I gotta face Anakin, bro. Like, it was dope. Yeah. It was pretty.
I did the same thing, Brian. I had the same problem.
It's really crazy because I've heard stories about the Cal Kestis character, and apparently there was a really big rumor that was going around for a bit that during the Obi-Wan show, Obi-Wan mentions that he had a younger brother, and a lot of people are starting to put into determination that Cal Kestis is actually Obi-Wan's little brother. Have you heard this rumor yet?
I think vaguely, but I don't like it though.
And that's why he, like, in the game, even the new game, they have the Obi-Wan hair and beard that you can put on the character.
Yeah, but they do that as DLC. I mean, like, you can literally don his entire Obi-Wan from the show.
Yeah.
Like, get up and
I
everything
think
like
it's
that.
kind of like chew on the nose if they were to do that. It'd be a little weird.
So wait, in the DLC, when you get the costume, do you get like a little kid underneath the?
No, they don't have
The
that version.
wardrobe.
You have to pay extra for that.
No, and they actually
You
have
gotta
the
pay
blast.
extra. You gotta pay extra for that.
They actually do have his blaster that he uses in the Obi-Wan show.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought that was kind of cool. But past that, I was
I want little child Leia underneath the fucking robe.
That's funny.
Walking in the DLC. That's
Even
what I want.
even that little girl in
Mike loved
interviews
it.
has said,
Mike loved it.
even that little girl in interviews
Yeah,
was like,
I'm not gonna lie.
she's bashed that whole scene, dude, saying that it was like the stupidest thing she's ever done. The
It's
little
the
girl, the
stupidest scene
actress,
ever,
dude,
yeah.
it's so funny. Mike, I just realized while we were talking about this that I have not had you on the show past Star Wars Celebration, and I have to ask, like, happy Star Wars Celebration Day. I forgot to tell you that, but how are you? Out of all the stuff you've heard of Star Wars, what's been the most exciting news that you've gotten out of it?
From Star Wars Celebration, the
Yeah.
announcement.
Well, I mean,
of
just in
Thrawn-
general, because
Well,
there's
I
been
mean,
a lot of Star Wars
I
action
shared
going on.
share the same stuff on the Discord. And if you guys aren't part of the Discord, get on the Discord.
Yeah,
Please.
if you're not on there, man, you guys are missing out. It's funny as fuck.
Yeah, no, the announcement of Thrawn, the showcase that Mickelson's coming back and coming back to that part, which is amazing. The announcement of the games, we got to see the actor for Cal Kestis out there. We got the reunion of Anakin and Obi-Wan on stage. Hell, we got their voice actors meeting the actual actors for the first time.
That was dope.
Those were important things for me to see. And
We got the opening up and a lot of the culture knowing the backstory of Ahmed Best.
Yep.
Like a lot of people knowing how he suffered and did stuff, and
Yeah,
you
no,
had this
that
really
man
beautiful
deserved the
like
win.
comeback
He really
of it.
did,
Yeah, and you had this really beautiful like just re-embracing of him, and I hope it kind of wakes the culture up about like the girl that played the what was her name in the Obi-Wan show? Like she got a lot of hate. There was the Asian girl from the other prequels. What was her name? The one in the
something Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah, she left social media after that.
There's a
But
lot of these
what I
people
did
that
like
don't
is that not
realize-
only Ewan McGregor, but Hayden Christensen also jumped on that, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Dude, yeah, like the people who did that, they're not real like Star Wars fans. Like you're trash.
even
Like we don't
Hayden
accept you."
Even Hayden Christensen, when they first did the prequels, a lot of people didn't care for it. They just didn't like the prequels. A lot of people didn't like them.
I'm
Yeah,
a fan of the prequels. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I honestly
they were
think
good,
Freddie
I mean.
Prinze Jr. said it best when he was on a podcast being interviewed about his role as Kanan, and he said, the people that are angry that Star Wars is different now are the people that are pissed off that he didn't age with them. Because Star Wars is for kids, it was for you when you were young. It's for the new kids now, this new set, and then there'll be new Star Wars later on for new kids.
Yeah,
And
Anakin will
you
fuck
go
them
on
kids
there
up
what
too,
you
man.
can, but it's for other people.
Anakin will fuck them kids up too, man. He don't care. It's for the kids, man. Anakin walks into every nursery and pieces up all the kids, man.
Yeah,
He
dude.
looks at all of them. He's like,
He
"What's
calls
up,
it a target-rich environment, bro.
man?" Target rich environment.
Yo, I don't understand people that shit on the prequels. You can't tell me that a young Darth Vader walking into a Jedi temple executing
And smashing
kids,
all the
and executing kids is not fucking insane like that. I'm sorry, bro.
I don't know. That's
it's
why I'm
insane.
always
I'm
like,
sorry,
well, I
man.
mean, it's
That
kind of a
is
kid's movie.
wild, yo.
And it's
That's
that
wild.
scene. You got to move that scene. And then the scene with Yoda explaining to Obi-Wan that he killed all the kids and showing him the security tape. And you see Obi-Wan like, my God, he's all
Oh
like
my God.
terrified and traumatized. Yeah, remove that part. That's not for kids. But the other part, though, Order 66, you got to remove that part too. Like, don't show the kids that shit. Like, it's a movie,
you said
man.
you weren't gonna show
I
nobody that, dog.
actually saw something 2 days ago. Where do you guys in the hierarchy of Star Wars movies? Where do you guys place Episode 3?
Episode 3.
As far
Return of
as,
Sith.
How do you want us to measure it?
In all of the movies, where are you placing this in the hierarchy of just the movies, not shows, not novels, not comics, anything like that? Just
You're just talking about the movie franchise.
just the movie franchise.
Where is it? Return of the Sith.
It's a return.
Brian, you bastard. Really,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the literal birth of Darth
Everything.
Vader. Yeah, well, it's the birth of Darth Vader more than any of it.
It's the birth of
So-
the empire. The emperor is the birth of everything, dude.
So a part of me wants to be blasphemous and rank it really high, but at the same time,
That's blasphemous.
I really think that in order of release is probably the best place to put episode 3 for me, because I needed 4, 5, and 6 to exist for 1, 2, and 3 to hurt the run.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because,
dude, and you know what?
Thank you, John.
Honestly, I was about to say, is like Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, is number 3 for me of like all time, like in the franchise, my favorite.
Yeah, I would love to know what movies you put up. Not you, Trixes. I will accept that. I will accept top 3. But if you don't put in your top 3, I would love to know what movies you put in front of the.
I'm gonna put all the last trilogy up there in top 3.
Dude, no balls. You won't do it.
I will
no
hit
fucking balls.
I would X, and I will exit out of this right now.
And he's like, and I'm off
done.
the podcast,
and we're done. And we're done.
I just want to be the biggest dick and like all the last 3 movies.
So
you won't do it. No balls.
Starting with the last one.
Rise of Skywalker. Why is that? No, I want to be real about it. Why is it blasphemous for putting it so high up?
So I think it's blasphemous, and this is just a personal opinion. This means I personally need 4, 5, and 6 to exist for episode 1, 2, and 3 to give me the emotional
connection all these
that I got. But if I'm just looking at them as the manner in which I enjoyed them, then I'm going to fuck around and say that it's Phantom Menace first.
Yeah,
shit.
Because Qui-Gon Jinn is what I expect a Jedi to be.
Yeah, and he's the pinnacle of what a Jedi is supposed to be.
What he should have been. And what I got in Star Wars, you realize he was always right. Goes ahead and expands on his backstory and tells you the stuff you get in the novelizations.
You get the creation.
But Qui-Gon Jinn was kind of like an outsider. He really wasn't like.
That's the thing. The reason what made him good is because he used emotional content to be a Jedi. And that's the same thing like Cal Kestis. What makes him a better Jedi than all the other ones and so strong is because he's not taught to be a religious zealot that you can't use your emotion. He is by far emotional to his entire fucking crew. He loves, and he's in love with that girl. Like he uses emotion to use his Jedi skill. Then you look at Ahsoka Tano. She's the next character. Very emotional when it comes to the way that she carries herself as a Jedi. Enough that she was like, I am not a Jedi. Because she knows that there is a religious faction. It's like your celibate. Like you don't have sex when you're a Jedi. You're like one of those dudes that has specific rules. And these people know that emotion is what works. What makes it work. What makes the Sith so much more deadlier and impressive is they are ruled in their religious zealot to use emotion. They're not just told like it's okay to use emotion to make decisions, but be rash. Yeah. I agree that I think Phantom Menace would probably be the first one. And the reason why is because I think, yes, like the introduction of Qui-Gon Jinn was a good character, but you get to see Anakin as a child in his innocence, but it introduces you to probably one of the most coolest and most iconic villains, which is Darth Maul. I think to this day,
he's iconic.
Darth Maul is super iconic in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, he carries all the way through.
No, I wouldn't say he's probably a fan favorite, but iconic. I mean,
that's what iconic is. A fan favorite, iconic, dude. He's iconic. You can't put that motherfucker anywhere without being like, oh, I want 2 lightsabers like that fucking red face dude. You can't do that. You can't do that. Like so he's the dude.
Let's talk about Darth Maul. You know where the icon.
All right, and I know where you're gonna go, but that's after we got that movie. All right, I'm talking about like when we first got that movie. All right, now I guess you can because with fucking Clone Wars and I get it. I got it.
Yeah, Clone Wars sucked.
Yeah,
I got it.
Yeah, I mean he ran the Mandalorian culture.
I got it.
Yeah,
I got
all that stuff. But going into the way I would set up the films for myself, like I said, Phantom Menace first. I would say then it's Episode 3, and then it's Return of the Jedi. Everybody and their mother puts Empire up there, and Empire is wonderful, but it's the saddest ending you're going to get in Star Wars. And that's why I say this whole conversation is the blast.
Clearly, you've never seen Rise of Skywalker.
You guys haven't seen Rise of Skywalker without that.
Yeah, clearly, you've never seen Rise of Skywalker. You want a sad ending? Watch that.
I am baffled.
That whole movie sad.
I'm baffled. The fact that you guys are putting.
Out of nothing, man.
I'm sorry. Phantom Menace is. Listen, it served its purpose. And yes, Darth Maul and the dual lightsaber. That was the first time we got to see a dual lightsaber. It was fucking awesome. I get it. But Rogue One dude.
Get out.
Rogue One.
Get out.
Rogue
Oh no,
One?
you're a big fan of Rogue One, aren't you?
Rogue One was fucking amazing, dude. I'm putting that over Phantom Menace. I'm not putting Phantom Menace as number one, but I'm putting Rogue One over Phantom Menace.
Okay.
That's not blasphemous. Like
And,
that's
and I have to give it to you, Brian. And I wasn't considering anything outside of the main Skywalker storyline from this. And yes, Rogue One is top tier. That has to be top 1, 2, and 3 for somebody because it's
for someone.
It gives
for me.
It gives
For me.
you-
Obviously, I'm the only one.
Obviously,
I'm the only one.
Yeah,
I'm
man,
up to bat.
Rogue
I'm up to
One
bat for
gives you
Brian.
the
I know
And
that.
you guys are gonna hate me because I like Solo better than I did Rogue One.
What? Listen,
Well,
I like
you guys are
Solo.
gonna hate me more. I fell asleep like midway through the Rogue One movie. I don't even know how it ended, but I just knew how it ended. You know what I mean?
heartbreaking.
Yeah, exactly.
I know how it ends, but I didn't know how it ended. You know what I mean? It's
It
like
was
Titanic
probably the
for
most
me.
epic ending of all the Star Wars movies of all time, besides
And
And
one
you
of the
wanna-
greatest space battles. I mean, the battle.
wanna know
Are you kidding me?
Is amazing.
I know exactly where I fell asleep too. When
So
they're
you
going to-
missed. So you missed Darth Vader's heart.
Oh,
hallway scene.
I've never seen that whole scene, man. I never got past the part where the chick sees the dad through the sniper rifle on that deck. Boom! I was out like a fucking light thing, and I have
So
trouble
you
sleeping.
never saw.
I loved you
I have
before this,
trouble
but I may just
sleeping.
own you now.
That movie helped me out.
You never saw the Darth Vader hallway
I've never
scene.
seen the Darth Vader. Oh, I saw it in fucking Robot Chicken. I saw it in fucking.
You
I
saw
saw
it
it in the trailer for Ahsoka Tano with that
in
new
Robot Chicken.
dude. Yeah, dude. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? I've
you're
never
crazy.
seen past the part of that movie where she grabs Mads Mikkelsen and she's my daughter or whatever. Yeah, and that's because I have trouble sleeping and I take melatonin. That movie knocked me the fuck out, dude. I'm great. I am gracious. I play that movie every time I'm having trouble.
Whenever
Man,
I want to go
I'm
to sleep, I
nap.
play Rogue One.
I either
Right
listen
out.
to some guy talking about
Yo,
church or
all right.
I watch Rogue One.
Listen, Mike,
Or Venom.
that's blasphemous.
Or Venom.
right?
Yeah.
I watch
That
every
right there,
Venom.
that's
100%,
blasphemous.
blasphemous. Yeah.
That's blasphemous.
Yeah,
Next, he's gonna
I'm
say
pretty
the
rough,
fucking
man.
holiday
Rogue
special is
One.
his favorite damn Star Wars movie. Is what's gonna happen.
Oh my god!
But I respect it. I respect people that like it. I mean, it's Star Wars, whatever.
I sleep through it, but I
Yeah.
respect it.
I mean, fucking people are gonna line up to see that Younglings movie, even though we all know how it ends. We all know how that series is gonna end, but someone's gonna watch the shit out of it.
Oh man!
That was the
Um,
equivalent of saying, you know what, Julie Andrews. I know she was Mary Poppins and shit, but I fall
Yeah.
asleep every
Yeah.
time she's on screen. No, dude, come what the hell?
Yeah, but I never learned the words to that spoonful of sugar song.
Yo, even if you didn't like the movie, how did you not finish it though? Like that's
Easy. It puts me
cannot
to sleep every
compute
time I
to me.
watch it. Knocks me the fuck out, dude.
All right.
I'll do a bunch of cocaine or whatever, and that movie still knocks me the fuck out. It's my
used to think
kryptonite,
you all-
apparently.
You all bring me on just to raise my blood pressure. Is what you guys do.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Have you not
Yeah.
realized you're completely trolling you every time you come on here, bro?
Every
Like that's
fucking
the
I
point.
remember-
bro.
I'm gonna
one
wake up
scene-
tomorrow pissed off.
Oh, her-
Right,
the
dude? It's
dude-
like
the
all
dude
of his
from
kids are
Andor,
just
right?
gonna get shit for like everything, dude. You
The
know
dude
why
from
this is
Andor's in it,
happening.
right? The main dude from Andor's in it, the Mexican dude, and he like kisses a girl, right? At the end.
Yeah, and then he dies like literally
And
2
then,
seconds
they're
later.
gonna blow that fucking place up. Like that place is gone.
That was my
I know how
only.
the story ends.
That was my only issue with Andor is because like you kind of know how it.
Yeah, that's my
how-
movie
how-
with Rogue
how it
One. That's my
plays
same
out.
reason. I know how it's gonna end already. Then you're gonna introduce me to like the cool like Donnie Yen character and the other dude, and it's like
That's the
they're all gonna
importance of it.
die, man.
It's- You have to know how the hell it got there.
It got
Yeah.
there exactly.
Yeah, and that's what Rogue One, and that's what Andor's even. And that's why I enjoyed Andor so
I
much.
actually
It was a
rewatched.
story drama.
I
But
actually
you know what?
rewatched Andor and I
need
liked
to
it.
know
more.
that backstory.
You did though.
Like I just know that in the original movie, some chick is like someone got us the plans, but they all died. God with them, or I say she says something, and then the story continues. I did not need a movie for that.
yes, you
I
did.
just know some motherfucker. No, we got
Yes,
Did I
one.
you
though?
did.
Okay,
Did
so
I?
You
this
did.
goes-
Like, did I?
Yes, you did, yo.
This
yes,
goes
you
back
did.
to the toxic fan base and the idea that not all the
I'm a
movies are for
fucking-
all of us.
Yo,
Yeah,
Yo,
Brian and I
James.
needed that fucking backstory.
I needed that.
You know,
I needed
Chris
that.
Yeah.
just
Seeing-
needs
yo,
double-sided lightsabers.
Seeing Princess Leia at the end of that movie and it all clicking. That like the first time you watch Rogue One and you see Princess Leia and it all clicks, you're like, holy shit. This
Dude,
is-
and for me, it was just like I'm sure like everyone like walked past her like, why is she talking down like that? Why is she hunched
Why is she
over?
so young
Weirdo. No one go in that room. That lady's weird. Like that's how I felt like during the movie. Like, help me, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. Like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Like,
we're like everyone's only hope right now.
Like you
loser.
thought you thought the surprise ending was, holy shit, we got Darth Vader. We got Darth Vader, and not only did we get Darth Vader, but we got a Darth Vader cool hallway lightsaber fucking duel
Massacre.
massacre, right?
It's a massacre, dude. That's
Right?
what it was.
15
We'll call a
seconds
spade a
added
spade,
on to the
right?
original one.
But then, like, as that's going and it's starting to compete, like, holy shit, and then you see Princess Leia, and you're like, this is the start of a new hope, dude. Like, it was just so perfect. It was perfect.
It sets up how close together that time
Like it was, yeah, in the time period.
Rogue One, 2, A New Hope. Like how much shit they went through just to get caught.
Just to get to
it kind of makes you it makes you go back to A New Hope and watch that scene and realize like how intense it was.
Why
you know what I mean?
One
like,
is fucking amazing, bro.
yeah,
that's why.
No, it's not. I felt that intensity even before I needed that movie 12 years ago, dude. 13 years ago when I was a child, dude. I know how intense it was when I saw Darth Vader enter that hall.
Mike, what are you going to do with this guy, yo? What are you
going to do? Man. Like I said,
no, but you know what? That's the same shit with Solo, bro. I didn't do a Solo movie. That's the same shit with the Solo movie. My Shrix is
watch
like,
your mouth, because the Solo movie is probably the most one of the most underrated Star Wars movies of all time.
But it's the crazy thing for me, in my opinion, on the situation is that the Solo movie is just a visual representation of everything you just already knew about Han Solo. Like you already knew all of that shit. The director was just like, let me physically show it to him.
And that's cool.
No, that's not cool, man. That's like me telling you, like, man, dude, and there was this one time Babe Ruth hit 12 home runs in a day.
And then you show me the fucking day where he hit the 12 home runs. That's cool.
And then some dude makes a fucking movie about how he did 12 home runs.
The day he hit the 12 home runs. That's cool.
On the fourth run, he did like 12 pounds of cocaine.
Quite literally, entire fucking segments on ESPN on these damn playbacks of these awesome fucking sport moves. What in the shit is Apollo Masolo if I gotta watch playbacks of guys hitting home runs?
All the shit I already knew about.
People the fuck out. Like
in fact, the one thing that I was Solo wasn't that bad of a movie to me.
I know it wasn't. That's why I'm kind of weirded out by what you're saying, because I know you like that movie. Like
the thing is the only thing that I was disappointed with was we all knew that he had apparently did the parsec run faster than anyone else in the world, which we all associated that with him being such a badass because he's supposed to be that character in the 80s films. Only for them to make the movie now and for them to be like, well, he technically didn't do it the right way. He kind of cheated. And then fucking now, the Millennium Falcon it's sentient and has an AI and it can do shit on its own. And it's not really them. And that's what I got out of the film. I got out of the film that, hey, you know what? It's never been the Force that has made any of the pilots badass in the Millennium Falcon. The Millennium Falcon is just badass.
I forgot you kept harking on the fact that there's like AI intelligence.
It's AI, dude. It's AI driven. So anytime someone flies in the fucking Millennium Falcon, goes, "Whoa, that's a badass pilot," and they're like, "Whoa!" in the ship, and you're like, "Wow, these guys are dumbasses that are flying it. How are they so good?" The reason why is because the ship has AI. It's 100% driving its own ship. And it's like a super bitch version AI that's like that. That fucking ship is like, your guys are dumbasses. You don't know how to fly me, bitch. Like it's super bitchy, dude. So yeah, Han Solo was all right. I don't consider Rogue One of the top of the three for.
Well, you never fucking finished it, so how would you?
Yeah, I wouldn't consider it. It's a good melatonin, but not a good film.
Chris's standpoint on Rogue One and Solo is the equivalent of a Power Ranger fan being pissed off that Tommy didn't marry Kimberly. That's that
was wild. I learned that in that new movie that just came out.
Bro, that's how I first experienced heartbreak, dude.
Get the fuck out of here.
If we look at Solo, for me, I can understand. I will understand that you're upset at the AI, that the hero that is Han Solo, the legend, isn't 100%.
It's tarnished now.
Yeah, a little bit.
That sets the tone and place for what Han Solo is
as a person.
Yeah,
like that's who
he
is.
He's about 80% full of shit.
Yeah,
and 20%
like 90% full of shit.
Yeah.
I was
But
kind of
that
hoping the other way. I was kind of thinking
he's like
both kind of dude,
90%.
man.
He's like 90% full of shit, but that 10% is a motherfucker, bro. Like, yes, that's Han Solo.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, I can get that.
The first of the latest trilogy, for when he's standing
Jeremy's
there
like,
with
I fell
Finn
asleep during that shit.
on the Star Killer planet or whatever, the Star Destroyer planet, and Finn's like, "Oh, use the Force," and he looks at Finn and says, "That's not how the Force works," and that's the reality of Han. He knows that you're just not going to pull it out your ass. That you have to have things set up in place because you are told to believe this legend, and he lets you believe it 100%.
Yeah.
He does because it benefits him.
It benefited him for those moments. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It had its moments and shit like that. The thing is,
I
think,
believe you did not finish
you know what?
Rogue One. I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
But you know what? Like every time we talk about this stuff, Brian, it reminds me of when we had the conversation about the Obi-Wan movie or the TV show.
Yeah.
And you were like, yo, they when are these motherfuckers just gonna run out of space? Like they constantly fill all of these gaps in the stories with movies, and it's like, yo, what are you doing, man? Like you're filling gaps, but like just tell us more of the story. Like elaborate.
I don't mind. Listen, I don't mind that, but mindlessly filling in the gaps, I don't appreciate.
Yeah, because like
I
right now,
don't mind you filling in the gaps, but like,
yeah, because right now we look at it in Dave Filoni and Favreau are about to fill the gap with the Ahsoka show, running it all the way back to the original trilogy, trying to make it like, you know, fill up the gap of the Mandalorian culture. And I think the Cal Kestis story is going to fall into place with that. Yeah. So that's pretty exciting.
We did the BD unit in the Mandalorian already, so
yeah. So it's pretty cool, man. I mean, it's for what they're doing with Star Wars. I'm really excited you're here, Mike, because like I know you haven't had that opportunity to talk Star Wars with us, man. I know that for sure, but
I'm not sure if you guys troll me every fucking time I get on here, but my blood pressure rises slowly.
Oh, we like to stress people out. It's just what we do, man. I troll the fuck out of people every day. I told everybody at the convention we were at the other day that the reason why my friend Christella is so innocent is because she's a nun. Yeah, it's because she was a nun and she used to fight demons, and that's why she's so like innocent about things. And they believe me. You can hear it in the video that I made.
Wait, they believe
like they're at the beginning, huh?
I mean, I've met Christelle. I'm pretty sure she can drink.
Yeah, it's literally at the beginning of the conversation we were having in that video I made. They're like, yeah, Chris fucking told us you were a nun playing Fortnite. And we like, he was like that you fight demons, but you have trouble social anxiety because, you know, you were part of a nunnery or whatever. And Christella was like, yeah, I guess. Like, yeah, dude. And they were like, man, but we fucking believed you, Chris.
You see,
like, and I was like,
he's bitching about Solo and setting up this myth and legend, but yet he's spreading these stories about Christella. What the hell, man?
It's fucking, it's what I do. But you know what? As a matter of fact, speaking Star Wars, I have to ask this because Brian had told us something about this earlier. Brian, you had said that there was an interview that just happened recently with Kathleen Kennedy about Star Wars news. Now we know Kathleen Kennedy's been in news a lot. She's kind of like the turmoil point in the Star Wars universe. What happened with this interview, man? That was breathtaking.
So honestly, I wasn't gonna bring this up, but I remember in our Discord, once again, if you guys aren't a part of it, join. Who's ever
you guys are missing out every night, man.
So Michael Betancourt brought it to my attention that yes, Kathleen Kennedy had an interview recently with a media outlet called Empire, where she was talking about the announcements that she made, I guess a year ago or a year and a half ago at this point, about the upcoming shows and movies pertaining to Lucasfilm and Star Wars, particularly Rogue Squadron, which I was anticipating, the Lando movie / show, which we heard wasn't going to be moving forward in production, but now it seems it may be back on. And also in particular, the Rian Johnson trilogy that is going to be moving forward the Star Wars lore. And in this interview, she said the reason why there hasn't been any movement in that trilogy is because Rian Johnson has been so busy and it's just putting everything back, which I call cap. We had this conversation off camera, but Triggs kind of like rattled off some of Rian Johnson's accomplishments, which kind of made sense. Triggs, what were they again? Like, do you remember
the Glass House movies?
The Glass Onion, right?
And then he also did one other thing, and I can't remember it off the top of my head.
But he has been busy though.
Yeah,
right. He has been fucking busy, and
the
listen.
Night Out films alone are massive.
And Poker Face. And Poker Face.
So my thing is, I get it. I am a Glass Onion fan, just like everybody else. I don't know anyone that doesn't like the Glass Onion one or two, right?
Mhm.
But you would think that he would be able to put in a little bit of time for at least one of the Star Wars
For a
movies.
Star Wars movie, man. Goddamn.
Like you would think so, right? Especially if I'm Kathleen Kennedy and I know that my job is on the line here, you're writing something for me. Like the Glass Onion crap is cool, but you need to get in the lab. Like you need to start figuring
You
this
know
out.
what? But I want to ask Michael Betancourt, like, do you truly feel like Kathleen Kennedy's job's on the line, or do you feel like there's a bigger possibility that she's going to maintain her position at Star Wars after her contract's up? I want to ask that because that's a really important, like, that's an important thing to ask.
From a marketing standpoint, the negative flack she's received and the cuts coming from company wide already, and the way they're merging. I mean, we had, I think it was Robert who mentioned it, or somebody mentioned about the merger of Hulu and Disney Plus. I do think her job is on the line, and she's making these announcements to get people hyped up for things that she had in place already that could be successes. So I mean, you have fans like myself. I really want a Rogue Squadron movie. I've been a fan of that since the novels. I mean, hell, my poor wife is working on our library in the house right now, and my Rogue Squadron 1 book is in eyeline right now. You know, there's a type of series that I want to get that Kathleen had on the table for us. So if she can garner enough favor from the fans, I think they'll be stuck with her a little longer.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, of course, in like we know that she champions for a lot of like the stuff that isn't as popular in the realms of what the audience is kind of clamoring for, but for some reason, a lot of the executives in the higher ups are still champion those ideals and trying to get them to run with them better. Maybe she kind of keeps that because she's like going against the grain and not afraid to fight the masses, I guess. It's kind of like, you know, she's like an edgy person, like, hey, well, you know what? Some people may not like it, but I'm doing it because I am a revolutionary or someone that I'm bringing a better ideal to the format or something. Maybe. I mean, maybe we can go something like that. I mean, it's kind of weird because it hasn't really been accepted a lot through all the audiences, right? A lot of the things that they're making by choice, but it is pushing into an envelope of a better Hollywood that a lot of people want to see.
I think I have to give it to the way Brian was discussing it in the Discord, that she's kind of firing all cannons almost. You know, she's kind of stuck in a weird spot, and it's either unload every shot I have and hope something fucking hits, or I'm out. And it may be the Hail Mary. She's going to say, I have all these projects lined up, and you know they have support, and I know you fans want to see them. And I teased you with that X-Wing shot with Patty Jenkins back in the day, and I know you got real excited. So hey, it's still there.
It's still up in the air.
Yeah, and you got suckers like me like, well, shit, it's still up in the air. Maybe I'll get it. You know, the same way, you know, maybe if I send an invite online to Avril Lavigne, she'll come with me to my prom or whatever the shit. You know, that's kind of where this kind of situation is. It's a good way to put it. A hope and a dream, you know?
This entire interview, which was with a lesser known media by Empire, which in itself is kind of weird. Like you would think the executive producer of Lucasfilm and Star Wars would have like Variety, Deadspin, the bigger name outlets to have this interview.
Entertainment Weekly at this point.
Something, right? You would think that, but she had this interview with Empire. Like, who the fuck is Empire? But whatever, right?
Good point.
We get our interview, right? And it was all posturing, all of it. If you after this show, you go and
go check it out.
Read the interview, it was all posturing. She didn't confirm anything. She basically said that Taika Waititi was taking way too fucking long with his movie. He only did 2/3 of the movie, and we've been waiting for that forever. So she kind of threw Taika Waititi under the bus. Ryan Johnson, she basically said like he's too busy to get in touch with us. The Lando movie, which no one fucking asked for, is nowhere to be seen. The Rogue Squadron movie, which I'm like Michael Betancourt, this out of everything that was named last year, that was probably my favorite project that I was looking for. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, how the hell did we not get that movie? I mean, Top Gun Maverick was a massive success.
Massive success.
Imagine space dogfights.
A space.
Like something that, because I mean, I'll put it out there in the space of life. The scene that they had with, of course, young Anakin, child Anakin in the very beginning of the Phantom Menace, and then later on you had teenage Anakin. Those dogfights that they had like in space during, that's what I loved about the
Phantom
prequels
Menace.
is that they isolated more on actually doing fighting in space. They actually had like a lot of space scenes where it's just them fighting like in the ships. I thought that was cool, dude. That was super cool. They exploited more of this like opportunity of like the technology of the time.
Yeah.
Where you didn't get to see that in the earlier movie. It was more based on the adventure.
And yet he hasn't finished Rogue One and watched the Battle of Scarif, which has to be the best dead space battle.
I already know how that ends.
And there's a lot of dog fights in the original trilogy, by the way, but whatever.
It kind of, but like I think like the science fiction technology at the time to kind of like CG it was still a little bit off, and I think the Phantom Menace, like, it really gave you the opportunity to see like experience space in a whole new like format. Okay. Like the way Lucasfilms kind of changed, and it changed its CG and all that stuff. I thought it was way more like, I was so much more impressed on the dog battles in the prequels than I was in the original three. I thought it was cool, like even just the visuals and the flare. A lot of like, I don't know what it was, but there was something about like the use of like bronze.
Listen,
or, like,
I'm not going to argue this with you. As long as you are a fan of the prequels, I will bring as many people on my side on this as possible, bro. There's not a lot of us, Chris. So like I gotta keep you over here with me.
Anime every day. The Anakin, you're going down a path I cannot follow. Yeah, dude. Yes. I thought that was the shittiest line in all of Star Wars, but it was so good.
With the ugly face, like, she's got the ugly face on. Like, yeah, Anakin, absolutely, bro.
You're going down a path. I was like, whoa, calm down, Shakespeare. calm down, girl. You know how to act. Stop that shit right now.
Yo, I loved her.
She was amazing, dude.
I loved her.
Dude, did you hear that Taika Waititi asked Natalie Portman to be in his movie?
Yeah,
I did.
And she was like, I was Padme. Like,
she's like, I was
you're
already
fucking
in that
stupid,
movie,
bro.
That was honestly, listen, I am a Taika Waititi stan. That was a mistake. That was a mistake.
There's some times you can't hold up for your friends, and they just got to take accountability.
That was a mistake.
That was a moment, dude.
He goofed.
Yeah, he goofed bad.
But
yeah,
bro, I wouldn't even call that a goof, bro. I would call that a straight fuck up.
But that's only because we're like Star Wars fans. But like, that's a goof. He didn't. But how the fuck?
I'm gonna chalk it up.
How don't you know? How don't you know? You go ahead. Make that make sense, Brian. Make that make sense.
I'm trying.
He's gonna hit up Sam Jackson. He's gonna hit up Samuel Jackson and be like, "Yo, it'd be really cool if you were in a Star Wars movie, bro."
And give you a everything.
Yeah, that would be fucking silly. All right, boys, onwards to our last part of the conversation. We have a good amount of time left, and I do want to talk about this. Michael Betancourt, I do not know if you've had the opportunity yet, but Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Watch the hell out of it, yeah.
Fucking A, folks. You know what time it is. Wah, 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 wah. I wish I had my fucking soundboard up right now. I'd do the fucking wah, 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 wah. It's spoilers time. Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Guys, I have to say, I got to see the movie. Brian, you saw the movie? Michael Triggs, you saw the movie?
Yes, I did.
We're all caught up. People in the comment section, I'm going to let you know right now, we are about to get into spoilers for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. If you have not seen it, boy, are you missing out.
Fuck your life.
The movie came out last week. Yeah, but if you haven't seen it, we're going to talk spoilers. So just letting you know, I'm going to give you like 10 seconds.
You have 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds. I'll just start off and say, I thought the movie was great. That's not a spoiler. That's just everybody's talking about that bitch already. So I'll just put that out there real quick. I thought the movie was great. I thought it was fantastic. In the sense of a ranking system, 1 out of 10, I'd give it a high 8. And right now, the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy is probably the best trilogy set in the Marvel universe.
Do you put this movie over the original Guardians?
No, not over the original one. Not for me. Like, and that's just my opinion. But it's close though, because then again,
that's what I said.
Probably was a bigger fan than most for the second film, where a lot of people didn't like it. I really liked the second film.
I've only seen it twice.
That movie's trash.
But I liked it because of the soundtrack. Again, the soundtrack saved that movie to me, because I thought the use of the sounds and the music and everything was really, really good to collaborate with the film. But the third film, the soundtrack to me didn't hit as hard, but the story, the characters, everything else was so elevated it didn't matter, because then it just accompanied what they played every time it came out on set. So that's my opinion. 8 out of 5 or 8 out of 10. What about you guys, man?
I disagree real quick. I'll Tricks, go.
Okay, Tricks. Oh yeah, Brian, you go.
I'll disagree because I already gave my synopsis. I'll disagree. I thought the soundtrack hit way harder in this movie than any other movie of the Guardians thus far.
That's pretty heavy.
I'm with Brian on this one.
Okay.
With Brian.
This movie, the soundtrack had meaning. Like the songs they picked had meaning, as opposed to just some popular fucking 80s or 90s music from the first two movies. But I digress. Triggs, what do you think?
Man, I actually kind of agreed with the review that you gave last week, man. You know, I do wish that I got a little bit more Adam Warlock. His scenes were pretty impactful in everything that he was in, except for one scene. It was completely unnecessary that he was there and did not, like, for me, do anything. And that would be the when he fucking roasts that guy.
Yeah.
That was, like, to me, like, outside of showing that he's a fucking moron,
I thought Chris was going to hate that scene, bro.
No, dude, I'm not gonna laugh. I emotionally, as a person who does like story writing,
look at Mike.
I was ready to shit on this movie. I really was.
Yeah, I wasn't really like all that like emotional about like the animals and all that stuff. Like, I really didn't feel the connection where a lot of people did. But man, did I fucking laugh super hard when James Gunn's wife got shot in the leg. Motherfucker, dude, that topped it for me. And I was like, dude, this is it right here, man. Like, this saved the whole fucking Marvel universe for me, dude. Just when she gets shot and lets out that scream, I was like, no, dude, this is fantastic. This movie's the best movie ever. I'm gonna rewatch it just for that scene, just to see that bitch get shot in the leg. Because you know what made it even funnier? Fucking Christella, we're in the movie with her friend JD and everybody, and she leans over and goes, "That was super funny, dude. It's like she's never been shot in the leg before." And I looked at Christella, I was like, "Christella, you've never been shot in the leg before. How would you react?" Like, my brain clicked that someone would automatically be like, "It's like she's never been shot before." It's like, dude, that's not a common thing. That was a perfect reaction.
Yeah, we're continuing to build this legend that Cristella's out there fucking murdering people.
Yeah, she's been shot. It's a warrior nun. She's been shot in the leg. Dude, she knows what's up.
Tricks, let me ask you.
God, that was a fucking funny
what's your rating system on this movie?
Yeah, it's a solid 8.5, even touching 9. Like, even touching 9. And reason being, dude, you know, and like outside of the whole like Rocket, you know, drama and everything like that, like, they're really like my biggest gripe, believe it or not, isn't going to be what you think it would be. I said what I thought it was going to be. Yeah, and that's why, like, it's actually not Adam Warlock. It's just that the stakes to me really didn't have a big impactful.
I'm going to disagree. That
like
I'm not going to do. There's
the stakes were probably as big in this movie than a lot of the MCU movies.
I don't know. I don't know if this.
Not really.
I get the stakes of what trigger means, because the way they make it seem is that outside of like the Earth, like the system of the Earth, like this dude's technology is like necessity for the world to be successful. Like he helps a lot of different communities out with the things he creates.
Yeah, but that's the reason why.
He's a fucking tyrant.
That's why like it was kind of imperative that we can't let this guy like get off this.
Yeah, we cannot let this guy keep doing his shit. But everyone in the galaxy was like, "Nah, but his shit it works though. We gotta just let him do his thing."
With that being said, bro, like, you know, what's gonna happen when he gets to regular Earth, not counter Earth, or regular Earth? Because he's gonna catch major hands when he gets to regular Earth.
I thought it was dope that they intertwined the sovereign people with him. Yeah. Like, that was pretty fucking cool. All right, that was the three of us got our shit out the way, and to the man of the hour, Mr. Michael Betancourt. Talk to us.
All right, so I'll give you my score first. Yeah, for me, this was a solid 9 out of 10.
Good shit.
And the Yeah, the reason I'm saying 9 out of 10 is because this film was a James Gunn film first, and then an
MCU movie second.
Hold that thought. We're gonna come back to that. But go ahead. Go.
Yeah, so it said some great things. It was not a perfect score, just because I wanted a little bit more from my secret ending at the end of the credits. The end credit scenes, I guess, were okay, but I could have used a little more there. The animal scenes did hit really hard for me. You know, there's the portion where Lila she gets shot, and you're watching Rocket scream, and all you hear in the background is Floor screaming, "Teef, Rocket, Floor, go now! Teef, Rocket," and she's just repeating it in absolute horror. And that's the last thing she says. The last thing, she's fighting everything in her fight or flight as a rabbit. Everything in her soul to stay and get her friends to leave with her.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing she says, screaming, she's begging, and she's shot down. And, you know, just the use of music here, I had never stopped to look at the lyrics for "In the Meantime" by Space Hog.
Dude.
And the lyric literally is, "I love the all of you." And Peter is looking at Gamora and trying to explain how much he loved her that was there before that is no longer there. And it just what that song means now. Like I've been playing that song nonstop in the truck is because of how it made sense. And every song told a story. Every piece of that soundtrack
1,000%.
set up more hurt and more emotional connection. And to go to the end level threat, you know, is it as big as Thanos and the Infinity Stones and everything? Technically, no. But what this movie did for me was make me reevaluate whose story this really was. All three movies, when I originally watched it, like, oh, it's Star-Lord's movies. He's the leader of the Guardians and whatever. But after watching Rocket's history and his story at the end, all three movies are Rocket's story. It's Rocket's rise into leadership, into that parent role, into where he is now at the end of Guardians as a true leader of these people. Because Peter doesn't make them save the day. It's fucking Rocket in the end.
Yeah.
And it's for Rocket's story, that threat was real. That threat was damn near biblical. It was a heart-wrenching revenge story that Rocket did a better job surpassing than Superman did in the fucking Man of Steel. You know, he stood over the High and says, I can't kill him. I'm a guardian of the galaxy. You know, and that,
at the end.
Yeah, those moments. I mean, you guys know me. As much as we shit on each other here, I emotionally connect to characters. And man, Rocket's story here kicked my ass. It was great.
I'd have to slightly disagree with you with the all of them being Rocket's movies. I definitely understand where you're coming from. I love the take that you give with that, but I really have to say that like the first two movies are like the first movie is truly a Guardians movie, right? You see the collective becoming a collective, right? You see the individuals becoming collective. You know, the second one, it's definitely a Star-Lord, you know, esque hyper focused story, and you see at that point, like, you know, he truly had like now has lost everything outside of the Guardians. Nothing else matters to him outside of the Guardians. But you do see Rocket coming into that parental, like the parental role with Groot. You know, you see, and then you see it a lot more prevalently in Infinity War and Endgame.
I was going to say in Infinity War and you
definitely see him become paramount to the success of not just the mission that he's been given, but the Avengers as well. And that's why like I agree with you to a point with, you know, with what you were saying. But yes, this third movie was obviously very Rocket focused, very Rocket heavy. But at the same time, like you also like I also see the collective becoming their individuals again because their collective missions have been completed. Right. You know, Star-Lord has come to accept, I am an Earthling. I need to go home. You know, Drax is like, I'm not a destroyer. I'm a protector. You know, Mantis is like, I'm no longer a servant. I want to see things on my own terms. You know, same thing with Nebula and everything else. You know, like you, it's almost like it's a beautiful coming and a beautiful going, like inside and out with this trilogy.
I kind of feel like it's just a really cool deconstruction of these characters from what they were in the comics, right? Because you look at it and you look at like Drax, like, you know, Drax by far is a very that was probably the part at the end when they said that you're not a destroyer, you're a father. I guess that was probably
Drax Destroyer. You're a dad.
yeah, you're you're a dad or whatever. And I thought, to me, that was one of probably the most touching parts in the film, because like his character really never had an end game or a goal or an orientation, because originally he was supposed to be the guy who kills Thanos. That's like his whole gist. So for them to give him a story where like, yeah, like his character is a very caring person, even though he doesn't literally care in a way because he can't show it. You know, it was a way more heartfelt situation than the animal situation for me. So I was very impressed on how James Gunn, you can tell he had a story from the very beginning. And you can tell where Infinity War kind of put a hiccup in his game with the way they tried to kill off Gamora, and then he had to bring her back. You know, he had to get them to bring her back because she was such a major story plot for the character of Peter Quill. Like her herself, like Gamora, I think she had more growth in the first movie to the second movie more than the third. Like her character in the third literally just played the same character she did in the first two films, except fast paced.
Well, the thing about a small thing about that is like it was widely known that what's the actress that plays her?
Zoe Saldana.
She had clearly stated she has no interest.
She's
of
out.
playing,
Yeah.
She has no
She's
interest
done.
in playing her any longer. So like when you're James Gunn, what do you do with that, right? So
yeah, but that's the thing is they wrote her out of the story in Infinity War. Definitively, they were like, "Yo, so she's dead."
Yeah,
like,
but you need to have.
And then they left it out there, and they were like, "Well, you can't bring her across the multiverse because they should have done the same thing to Black Widow." You know what I mean? Because that's the problem with that situation with the Gamora character is in Infinity War, they go back in time and bring back Gamora to when she was just an asshole with Peter Quill. Why didn't they just go back 20 minutes before they got to the fucking planet and be like, hey, it didn't work, or it did work. You have to go. And then she's like, okay, cool.
I get what you're saying, but even though she to you wasn't a major part or just very distorted in this,
it was just a little weak.
But it was still the motivating factor of Peter Quill's character in his entire fucking movie.
Yeah,
and I do think going with what Brian's saying here, in this film sets up the growth with us to get what we get at the end with Groot.
At the end.
Yeah, because she bitches the entire time. You know, you're just making things up that he's saying. You don't really understand. He's not really saying anything.
And then she understands him.
And she understands. And then we get our moment that
we understand him.
James Gunn for making me feel that shit in the middle of it. Like he spoke to, I heard him this time. And that was important because we were part of the family now. We were connected to them.
But you see, like, that's the thing is Zoe Saldana as an actress has said she doesn't want to come back. But this story writes her into a situation that she's pretty still there, being that she's a part of like the Guardians of another corps. You know, she's part of the Ravagers.
Those were the Ravagers.
They're all over the place.
Yeah.
We know,
but I like that though. That's creativity. That means to me, that's creativity. That means like she can be on the back burner. She can go out and go do her thing, and if she wants to come back, she can always come back. So listen, I kind of want to forward this conversation because we've just been like in limbo here, but I want to know, what do you guys feel about the Guardians moving forward, the new formed Guardians?
Yeah,
what are your thoughts about
from there, right? I'm happy with what they did, and the reason why is because this brings us closer to the Annihilus wave, which is what I thought they were going to do originally.
Okay.
Because from here on out, it's like, okay, cool. Like, what do? You just brought in someone like the Higher Evolutionary who plays, you know, some in the back burner of Wanda, back burner of some of the mutant kind. Like, you can kind of put him anywhere. And the guy that played this character and the way James Gunn wrote him, it's just my personal opinion is I think he was a way better villain than what we've seen for the Kang character. I know that's an opinion-based thing. Brian feels like what we got on Loki was good, which I mean, I don't disagree, but I just feel like they really did an excellent job to get me to fucking hate this person. Like, and I was sitting there like, man, dude, I hope I hope Star-Lord's literally just puts this guy and beats the fuck out of him. And they just couldn't until the end. Like they couldn't, but I kind of felt like it was Rocket's time to shine, that Rocket deserved the opportunity to beat the fuck out of him, and he did. But I don't feel that for Kang yet. Like when he's fighting Ant-Man, I'm just giggling and I'm just like, he's gonna get him. He's gonna get. But this one, like I felt in my heart like this guy was an evil person.
I think
that was good writing.
I think that because it was writing because it was a flushed out character within a 2 to 3 hour period, as opposed to the King where you're gonna draw that over the next fucking 10 years. But anyway, Triggs, what do you think of the new formed Guardians moving forward? Like, what do you think of this so far?
Oh man, I kind of want to
shit on it.
No, not at all, man. I always want to give it the benefit of the doubt. Okay. Always, right? Like I'm a Marvel fan through and through.
So much,
and with that being said, like I will never shit on a new team that Marvel wants to bring out. But at the same time, like like you have a lot of characters that like don't have a whole lot of backstory outside of Rocket and Warlock.
Yeah.
So
especially
if you're not
if
you're not in it, if you're not in it, you don't know what's up. Like
and so like you're gonna get a lot of characters that like you're gonna have to make a backstory for.
Yeah.
So I mean, like it could be cool. Like they could do something new, a good new fresh twist and stuff like that. So like I said, there's potential for greatness here, but do not drop the ball on this, because if not, then boom, people are gonna write off Guardians, and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, because this is an easy time for them to be like, the next movie that comes out, they brought in Phyla-Vell, you have Adam Warlock, you literally have the entire cast of the resurrection of Thanos, you have Star Fox, you have all of that thing when Thanos wrote his will, you have a whole setup to do the Gamora story where she becomes the Infinity Gauntlet carrier and fucks everybody over, and they don't even bring back Thanos, they bring her into it and she's the villain because she's an asshole. You have all of this potential to do a big cosmic story with all these characters. But I think since these characters are so like risky to write about, I think if they're not as passionate as James Gunn is about writing, they're going to fuck it up. Because there's not a lot. It's like you said, like you have to be a comic book lover to know where the story could go. You know what I mean? Like the Annihilus Wave is a fucking badass story, but if you're just, it's fucking wild. But if you don't read comics, you're going to be like, oh, well, these fucking insects come from another universe and just start the whole universe and everyone dies. Well, why didn't Thanos just do that? It's so like biblically like ending of the universe that it's going to take. That's like, to me, Annihilus Wave is like the next Thanos system. Like that's the next Infinity Gauntlet. You can really like wipe the entire culture out and then restart the whole universe from there. Like it's crazy. But I think personally the reason why they didn't do Annihilus was because they're saving him for the Fantastic Four. And then that's when all of this.
Annihilus is a superb Fantastic Four.
Yeah, he's a crazy villain.
Crazy as hell.
Yeah. He's a crazy enough villain that when that story was being done, Thanos took the side seat. Because he wanted to take over the Annihilus Wave. It's that crazy of a story. But again, you still had Drax. You still had all of the permanent characters. Star-Lord, who's like a veteran, lost an eye. You had Richard Rider. That's literally when Xandar gets completely wiped off like they did in the movies. Yeah, and Nova.
The first thing that Annihilus Wave does, destroys
Xandar. Like it's super crazy how it's really crazy how many places James Gunn pulled from. And then you see the ending of this, and then it's like, okay, Peter Quill goes back to his grandfather, who you hear his name is Jason, right? And then you find out like, oh, well, dude, Peter Quill's father, wasn't he Jason of Spartax?
Yeah.
Like, wasn't that his dad's name? Which means he's the emperor of Spartax, which is an entire other culture that Star-Lord's family literally came from. And he's the prince who has to go back and be king. And then you find out that the dad ends up becoming evil. He's a villain and then wants to take the kingdom back and fuck over Star-Lord. He becomes a villain named Knives. Like there's crazy story, dude. Like there's a lot of fucking thing that James Gunn did his fucking like research.
So
even
I actually have a question, Chris, before you continue, right? Because after watching this movie, I realized that Rocket wasn't the star here. Star-Lord wasn't a star here. Nebula, who I loved, was not the star
Fuck, she was
in this
amazing,
movie.
dude.
The star of this movie was fucking James Gunn, dude.
Yeah.
He was the fucking star here. And I think Mike said it earlier. This was a fucking James Gunny fucking movie, bro.
Yeah, straight through and through.
This
He
is
did
a
an
James
excellent job.
Gunny movie. So I kind of want to. I don't want to shift off of this because I think we can just go.
But I know where
deeper
you're
into
gonna
this.
go.
Where does this lead? Where does this leave James Gunn? And do we feel comfortable now, knowing that one, he can pull off a superhero movie where you have somebody flying with a cape, but it's still going to be a James Gunny movie? Do we feel safe with James Gunn having Superman in his fucking hands?
Yes.
I'm going to say 100%.
Yeah, I say yes. I say this movie proves.
So before you answer, is this movie the reason why you're saying yes?
The whole trilogy.
Okay.
Whole trilogy. The reason why is he can pull off Heart. Like he literally pulled it out. Like through and through all three movies, they all reign on the idea of family and heart.
Okay.
Like every movie from the very beginning to the ending. The first movie, you had it to where all the Guardians had to come together, hold hands, and the Peter Quill scene where he sees his mother. Like you literally feel the animosity and the vibe of Peter Quill. In the second movie, it's Drax meeting Mantis. It's Peter Quill dating Gamora, and then it's Peter Quill meeting Ego. Okay. And then later on, it's the Christmas story where Mantis ends up being the sister, and now Peter Quill is not alone. He has a family again. And now you have it here where Peter Quill literally, like, he's even quoted by James Gunn saying that Peter Quill was never the main character. Rocket Raccoon is. Like, he's the whole thing about this. Mm-hmm. But you feel the heart of every character in this film. And if there's one thing that people love about Superman, if he writes it correctly, is he is heart. He has to be the heart of the DC universe. And right now I feel like James Gunn wrote an epic three-piece meal. And fucking Superman, if he's going to run with this and he's going to put that kind of vibe in it, like, I mean, you cried for a bunch of seedy fucking raccoons and shit. The CGI raccoons. Imagine it being a dude you got to cry for. Imagine the vibe you got when Peter Quill's there screaming for Rocket Raccoon on the operating table when it's not working how you felt. And imagine that being about Superman. You know what I mean? Like, I think he can pull it off.
Michael Betancourt, I posed the same question.
Yeah.
It wasn't this film that showed me that Gunn can do this. In all honesty, and this sounds silly, but it was the Peacemaker TV series. Because if James Gunn,
I think I know the scene that you're talking about too.
You know, what James Gunn does is makes us identify and connect to things that you wouldn't think were important. You know, I'll go back to Trigger mentioned Slither earlier in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that movie's ending and they're killing off Michael Rooker's character. He's in full alien monster mode, and he's sad. He is sad looking at the woman he loves, Elizabeth Banks. And I gave a shit for a second. I mean, that was a monster, and I cared for a minute. Mm-hmm. You know, could you imagine when he gives us Superman the way Superman should be? The Boy Scout, that hero. You know what we're gonna emotionally connect to. Could he crap this up? Yeah, 100%. Anybody.
I think so.
But I have faith that he'll at least try harder than some directors would.
True that. I believe that. I 100% believe that.
Tricks?
Oh yeah.
Let me repose the question. Do you have faith that especially after this trilogy and this movie, do you have faith with Superman in the hands of James Gunn writing, not only writing but directing this movie?
I've always had faith in James Gunn directing the movie. Always. Okay. With writing the movie, yes, now, because like the first two movies and even the Christmas special, they were all very comedic. Yes, there was heart. Yes, you could see the dramatization and the importance of the other movies, but they were heavily comedic. I'm not saying they were Taika Waititi comedic, but they were heavily comedic. This one, it kind of flops.
I think that was kind of a shot at my boy, but I'm gonna let it slide. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
I'm very sensitive. when it comes to psyching with TD. So I'm just checking. I'm just checking.
No, like he's a very comedic director.
Mike, what are you laughing at, bro? What are you laughing at, Mike?
I don't know.
He's like, I'm laughing because he's a funny motherfucker. That's why.
It's hilarious to me because I expect people to shit on Taika because of the type of movies he makes. But if you sit down and watch the films, or you watch, I will use Our Flag Means Death as a wonderful example. I went into watching that thinking this is going to be a silly pirate show, and there was so much heart and
he
growth.
makes great movies, bro. Like,
Dude, the same thing with Free Guy.
He makes great movies, dude.
That's like you feel for the guy.
Yo. That's my guy. Yo. Yes, he laid a dud. He laid a goose egg with fucking Thor fucking.
Oh shit! I thought you were gonna say Green Lantern, but we won't say that.
Fuck you. We don't talk about that movie, by the way.
Nobody talk
about that movie.
He doesn't even talk about that movie.
We don't talk about that movie. But that's my guy. But I'm sorry, I digress. Tricks.
I digress.
The floor's back to you. We left to you. Go ahead.
But yeah, man, like I said, man, like I know that he's written stuff, but I've never really paid attention to it. This is the one that kind of makes me pay attention. Like, okay, dude, like you're giving us stuff where like I am connecting on a very emotional level because like I have 5 dogs, dude. And if any of my fucking animals were hurt, like I would go nuts. And so you understand the depth of Rocket, like why he doesn't talk about his past. And he has a great reason for it. And then you find out exactly why. And then you find out that the whole team is like out for blood at this point.
Yeah.
All of them are like, on site. It's on site with this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. Yeah, I was very impressed with the film. I thought he really he landed the landing really well.
And he has great comedic element in the movie, especially like with what Chris said when she gets shot in the leg, like you're like you can't.
Okay, so that
but
right
you know
there,
what?
Mike.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, Mike, go ahead, because I think you're about to say.
I'm gonna reiterate what Brian said earlier. James Gunn can pick a fucking soundtrack. Like the way this movie musically plays out for us really allows us to grow and fall into the story, and then at the end breathe that sigh of relief. I mean, Florence and the Machine, the dog days are over. That's
over. Yeah.
That's a song that I never would have worried about as far as any hero film, much less ending this trilogy. But what that song means for Rocket sitting there and Groot dancing and everybody saying their goodbyes, it ties it up so perfectly.
Yeah.
It lets you relax. You loosen your muscles. Tomorrow's another day. The bad days are gone. Something new is coming, and that's what gives me hope for this new setup of Guardians.
Being over here on the East Coast, you can never go wrong with No Sleep Till Brooklyn, and have a hallway fucking fight scene with all the Guardians. I mean, let's be real.
You can never go wrong with fucking Beastie Boys today.
Yeah.
You can never go wrong with those are the coldest white boys on the East Coast, bro. I promise you, man. I swear to God, I love the Beastie Boys, bro. I grew up on them, and over here on the East Coast, they are fucking legends, bro. Like, No Sleep Till Brooklyn in a hallway fight scene was fucking amazing.
They go for being a major integral portion of Star Trek as well. The Beastie Boys like shit no matter where they go.
I do on top of that, like the teamwork in that fight.
It was
teamwork, the seamless teamwork.
Everybody came together. You could tell that it was a well-oiled machine. I do have to throw some slack that sometimes in the part of the film there might have been too much James Gunn in some scenes, which is like he has this knack to do like a very
He's James Gunny, dude.
Yeah, there's like sometimes it can be too much, and I kind of feel like this movie does have that a little bit.
I'm surprised you guys are
by everything so important.
Shitting. Honestly, I think that he may be too James Gunny for Superman, dude. I'm sorry.
There is a part of me that kind of worries, and it's that scene where it's like James Gunn has this tendency to bring in a very heartfelt moment, and then there's a wait, and then some stupid thing happens, and it fucks the scene up, which is very prominent in the second film when they put Ego to sleep, and the team does that whole like group shot. And then all of a sudden Mantis gets hit with something and Drax is like, watch out or whatever. And it's like, God
Yeah.
damn it. Like there's sometimes that too much, right? I
see,
feel like there's a
where-
lot of it in this
where I'll
film. Not a
give-
lot of it, actually.
Yeah, where
Like
I'll
the one
give
that I didn't
Brian
really care
points-
for was, huh?
Yeah, where I'll give Brian points, but at the same time disagree, is there are comics where Superman has that type of style. If you look back at the run of Superman and Batman Public Enemies, you
Mhm.
know, that entire TPB is full of moments where Superman is in shit and dumb situations, where he has to crack a joke, where he has to make light of the
very
situation.
Starship Troopers comedy.
Yeah,
Very like, oh man,
Very
it's a
that
crazy
type of
war
play.
scene. You know,
We'll see
you're gonna need the pilot's gonna have to be crazy, and then the guy's, well, I hope you have a crazy pilot, and then fucking hangs up, and it's like, that's a bad joke. You know what I mean? Like that's just a bad joke. There's a lot of that corny's like 80s. Well, no, I would say like 40s World War I written comedy between Batman and Superman. That's because Superman's so corny, but that's just what it is. You know what I mean?
But that's Superman though. Like
That's Superman, though.
That's Superman, dude. Like for the Guardians, it works because like it's the fucking Guardians. For Superman, dude, for Supes, bro, he is the corniest, lamest superhero of all time, and we love him for that.
Yes.
We love him for that.
And it almost reminds me of every time someone talks about it being corny, like how Christopher Reeves portrayed Clark Kent more than Henry Cavill does.
He's a fucking square, dude. That's the whole point of him. He's a fucking square, dude.
Yeah, because even if you look at it, like you look at the way Henry Cavill portrayed Clark Kent, and he's like a dude that just hits the gym. He's just quiet. You know what I mean? But you know, Christopher Reeves is Clark Kent was such a dork. Like just dropping his shit and like, oh, I spilled my coffee.
How the fuck is
like,
James Gunn going to
pull that off?
Present a square? I don't think he even knows how to do that.
Well, Kraglin, dude. Kraglin in this whole film was a square.
Listen,
this whole trilogy.
Kraglin was getting a lot of shit for this movie, and I actually liked him in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, other than the fact that he was, I think, probably the second most underused character in the film.
Probably.
Like that was my opinion.
I did personally love the dynamic between him and Cosmo. I really did. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people hated that, by the way, yo.
Yeah,
a lot of people hated that.
I honestly feel like, okay, so Kraglin for me is, the way my wife explained it, is a space redneck, 100%. Garth Brooks fan, right? But the way he connects Cosmo,
Okay,
yeah,
that's funny.
You know, he gives shit to Cosmo because he knows the dog is going to be upset that she's not a good dog.
Yeah,
but at the same time, he's doing it lovingly. You know, he's showing a connection for the pet lovers. I don't know. I really loved what they did with Kraglin here. Would I have loved to see more? Yeah. But he's going to be the new Guardians, and now we're going to get to see him grow in a different way. And I was appreciative that we got to see Yondu come out and, you know, explain to him, you know, trusting his heart.
Use your heart, boy.
Yeah,
he wasn't there though. Like he wasn't there when he was explaining that in Guardians 2. Kraglin was not in that scene when he was like, "Use your heart, boy." Like he wasn't there.
Well, yeah, but it goes back to how many times has he heard that story?
Yeah.
How many times has he spoken to Peter? How many times?
Yeah, you'd have to explain it through there.
Yeah, that this is the way to do it.
I did like the kind of dynamic that Kraglin felt like he had that father connection, like Peter Quill did with Yondu. I dug that. I wasn't really a big fan of them taking for so long for him to understand how to use the fucking arrow he's been training with for like umpteen years. But that's the same equivalent to the way I felt as like, why didn't Peter fucking pack his rocket boots and helmet this time? Like, where did that go? There is an upgraded version of his helmet that does follow that badass suit he's wearing, but they chose not to do it, which, I mean, I guess, like...
I attributed that he's a drunk piece of shit. I mean, and you forget your tools because you're an alcoholic and, you know, you're not going to remember what you need or what you're supposed to use. And then he did it because he was worried about rockets. So my first thought is not to fucking make sure I got my pocket knife on me if I got to rush somebody to the hospital.
If you think about it, if you think about it, like once Adam Warlock showed up, it never really like slowed down. We were at like 100 miles per hour.
Yeah, that was kind of like the other thing I didn't like. I didn't like how fast it was in the beginning.
No, it started from literally the as soon as the credits stopped,
fucking just automatic.
You're on. Like the first thing you see is Adam Warlock fucking shit up.
Yeah, and I got to give it to Robert. He keeps bringing it up, but starting off with Creep in that acoustic style. You know, it's
I just didn't like it when not the fucking song came out and it turned all weird and shit. Tell him it's fuck, dude. when the font of Guardians of the Galaxy came out and it like changed, the sound changed. Oh, it sounded like ass.
So
dude.
we're all cool with how dumb Adam Warlock is, right? Just so that we're clear.
But he's a child, and that's something that
And that was
comics
fine
set
with you,
precedent
right?
for. Yeah,
That was
when
fine
he's
with you.
taking out of his cocoon too early, he's an idiot. It's just he's a
Okay.
baby. Yeah,
Chris,
wow.
Chris, you're fine with that?
Wait, say it again. What was it? If I'm cool with what?
We're all fine with how idiotic Adam
I
Warlock
mean,
was in
I
the
get what
movie.
they're saying in the sense of like, well, it's because he was taken out of his cocoon early or whatever the fuck. Like that's kind of like, that's like hearsay. That's why like you hear in this quarter logs, it's not really in story. They're explaining it off camera. I chalk it up because of the fact that Adam Warlock has to be equivalent to Vision, because that's the correlation between both characters. So literally, Adam Warlock's character is Vision in Age of Ultron. So like when he comes out, and even at the end when he's like, "Why do you help the humans?" and he's like, "Well, I was born yesterday." It's kind of that same concept where Adam Warlock is just born yesterday. Even the whole thing about him looking homeless at the end of the thing, like that's not even a part of it. That's the Jesus storyline with him, where he just travels the universe looking for things to learn about life. That's like a whole part of his comic book journey. I thought it was funny that they did the fucking finger touch from the fucking God and Adam thing. That was fucking funny, dude. All this shit was so dumb, dude. Like just so dumb. What's his face? Nathan Fillion coming out in a fucking meat suit. God, dude, that was gross, dude.
That was probably the most James Gunny thing.
That's probably the most.
That right there was probably the most James Gunny thing of the entire movie.
James Gunn is the only dude that can write a movie that can get people to climb into an asshole in space, dude.
Yeah.
Like that big ass fucking spaceship was just an asshole in space. It was just a big colon, dude, and he got everybody in line for that shit. Listen, I loved. Did you see the chick from Ratcatcher was in the movie? She was the chick in the elevator.
She was the
in
girl.
She
was like, "Oh yeah, I thought you were a dude. I thought you were kind of a douche."
Yeah, that was bad, dude. That whole scene, even the scene when fucking Peter Quill's like, "I need to get on that intercom. Like it's super important. I know you have a heart," and she's like, "I feel you, dog," or whatever. And she puts it's like, "All right, get out of the way, bitch. I just needed to hack your shit." Yeah. And she's like, "This motherfucker." That was like, "All right, this guy's not."
I told you she was in me.
I 100% thought Peter Quill was just this huge pussy, dude. I thought he just turned into this huge fucking whiny pussy, and then at the end you find out, no, he's getting his balls back. He's getting his balls back. It was a whole fucking story.
I'm sorry. I'm going to say this right now. I think James Gunn has a niche. I think that the Guardians of the Galaxy was his sweet spot. I think it's going, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to be this guy. I don't think it's going to get any better than that. Like that was his sweet spot. Like that was a lesser known IP that he can just go crazy with, and no one's going to care. And I think that he knocked it out the park.
Well, I don't know, man, because he's going to have the authority in DC, and DC's authority is.
Let me finish. Give him something like Superman. It's going to turn a lot of people off, dude. I see that. I see that happening, bro.
I don't know. The reason why is, like I've said before, is because the story of Superman that he's going to be writing is the one where Superman is leaving behind a team of guys to take over his job because he's dying of cancer.
Yeah.
So he's going to bring the authority in, and then by the second or third movie, Superman dies. He's going to die of his disease, and then the authority takes over, and that's it. Like that's why I think 100% James Gunn is there, because he brings in weird characters and he can't work with the original ones too well. So he has to kill them off, which is what I've said before. He's going to kill off Superman, then he's going to kill off Wonder Woman, then he's going to kill off Batman. He's going to kill all the Trinity off, and just have it to where it's all of these weird fucking characters, Damian Wayne,
or the Robins. All right, I get that, but where's the money going to come in then?
Dude, same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, fuck.
No. There's a difference because the Guardians of the Galaxy, you're not at the helm. You're just made to ask a movie. When you're the head of DC, you're asking to bring in money.
There's
a difference there. So if you're gonna kill off the Trinity, where's the money coming from?
I mean, that's the only thing that would be my only concern about him running DC. It's not the fact that I don't think he can run Superman or Batman or whatever. I think he can write those. That's not the problem. The problem is he works very well with characters that people don't know.
That's what he just said.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I think we're forgetting a very crucial part here, and I hate to bring it up because it's a thing, but we had to remember that he may be in charge of everything, but the Flash is going to do something. That movie is going to most likely set up a new Trinity. That movie will most likely set up who the new Batman is, who the new Superman is, who the new Wonder Woman is, or who returns and who doesn't, kind of a deal. So once they're in stone, other directors will most likely do those movies while Gunn says, okay, this is our overall story and this is the direction we're trying to go. You need to match this.
I can see that. Triggs, what do you think, man? You've been quiet this whole time, man. I need to get your fucking conversation up in here, man.
Because, man, and like, I'm kind of just listening, man. You know, that's sort of what I do. Like, I remain really objective about things, and like that's kind of like my thing. You know,
Well,
and
Fuck that. Take a side, yo. What's going on, bro?
why do I need to take a side, though?
I don't know. I just like to.
It's just fucking around. We just got a really, really good Trinity, or not a Trinity, a trilogy based on the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then the next step for him and probably some of these characters are going to be going over the DC universe, a whole practically brand new universe. He did extremely well with what he did with the Guardians, and now he's going to have DC. What kind of success do you think he'll bring to that?
I think that remains to be seen. You know, what kind of success would I like to see? I mean, obviously, I would love to see, all the success in the world, especially when it comes to the DC franchise. You know, it's been very, very stagnant. As far as the live action movies have been going, and maybe some new blood is exactly what they need. And with him at the helm, maybe we can get that. If it flops, then it flops. But like
Betancourt said it, he liked Peacemaker.
It's the heist,
Peacemaker,
dude.
so random.
Yeah, and you know what? And like, but that's the thing, dude. Like, I almost like boycotted Peacemaker because I thought it was gonna be fucking stupid.
And it was
stupid, dude. But that fucking show slaps so hard, dude. And that soundtrack is a fucking one, dude. A1. That guy does not miss when it comes to soundtracks.
I 100% agree, because it's like, I mean, Mike, you probably agree too. Like, who would have thought a show based on Peacemaker was going to be that successful? And that's Peacemaker, comic book Peacemaker. Who thought? Who thought it was going to? Who thought John Cena was going to pull that shit out of his ass?
Triggers like, I'm not going to watch this piece of shit. He's going to be
dude, I was
overly dude, bro.
Why though? Why would you watch? Why would you watch Suicide Squad and not think that movie would, or that show would slap?
No,
because Peacemaker was like one of those like Giga Chads, and then he like got straight jobbed out, and I was like, dude, this is fucking dumb. Like,
he didn't get
this is gonna be dumb.
out. He didn't get
bro.
jobbed
He got
out.
jobbed.
He had the best scene of the whole fucking movie.
Dude, he was a jobber.
That fight scene was the best scene in the whole movie, and he was the best character in the whole movie.
Dude, he was a jobber.
I'll throw this out there.
Okay.
He was a jobber, dude. Come on.
Well,
what ends up happening, dude? He fucking gets shot in the neck through his own bullet. He's a jobber. Dude.
After like a 15-minute fight scene.
But that's the thing, is like, okay, like, look, basing it off of the character
jobber,
the character's popularity in the comic books. That's such a random character for us to be like, yo, it's gonna make a great season. Just watch.
Yeah, dude, this would have been the equivalent of Kraven the Hunter getting like the acclaim that Baker does.
Yeah,
will it happen? Fuck no. Like, will Kraven ever get that kind of accolade? Fuck no.
Yo,
like,
Brian,
dude, the same thing.
Imagine, well, I mean, I can't do that because Nappa's badass. Imagine I was gonna say, imagine Nappa in the series. I would have fucking dug a whole Nappa series of DBZ, dude. Just those
nobody likes
his
Nappa,
ass going
dude.
around to different resorts and
Who
cities.
The fuck likes Nappa, bro?
Everyone loves Nappa, dude.
Dude, honestly, Nappa, Team 4-Star Nappa was the best thing ever, dude.
I'm gonna show you that, Brian. You're gonna have a whole new thing. But imagine, like, okay, remember the Ginyu Force? Remember that one little green froggy dude? Remember him? Like, just imagine him getting a whole fucking DBZ season just dedicated to his own ass. Like,
I'm not gonna correlate that to this because you're talking about John Cena, who's a very charismatic person.
That's the way Peacemaker was in the comics. Dude.
I understand that.
Yeah,
about the live action. The live action was a little bit different.
Yeah.
And first off,
I agree. Peacemaker was awesome.
First off, watch your mouth. I do like the Ginyu Force, but they were all bums. They were all fucking bums.
Dude, they were jobs, dude. They're all jobbers.
They were jobbers. They were
all jobbers. Suicide Squad, all jobbers, dude.
But we can't give the Ginyu Force shit because it's a Cal Kestis situation again. They're badass in their situations, Goku was.
They just
OP
ran.
and
They just
was-
ran into. Yeah, they ran
just
into.
ran
The,
into
they
the
just
wrong
ran into.
ball, man.
They just ran into the one. That's it.
They
ran
just
into
ran
him.
into the wrong
ran
motherfucker
into
that
him.
day.
Yeah, because they were top tier Frieza Force, and well, they fucked around and found out with Goku.
They
That's
fucked
the way-
around and found
Yeah, I
out.
love that
They
shit.
ran
dude.
into him.
I love that
That's
shit
right.
Dude,
so much.
and it's because Goku had his muffin button. All right, so
God.
Muffin button. God damn. Okay, I have to ask you guys now. Basing on what we've seen with the Guardians of the Galaxy, the final film, we know they got a team at the end.
Trash.
Where? What the fuck, dude? You better
That team is
watch your
trash.
chill
mouth,
that
dude.
shit. Better
Watch
chill
your
that shit.
fucking
That's King
mouth.
That
Groot,
team is
man.
trash, yo. I'm sorry,
That's
yo.
King Groot, man.
It's trash, yo.
Where do you think
Rocket and Groot are the best things
You take it
in
from
there.
here.
The Rocket and Groot are cool. I do not like Adam Warlock as a Guardian.
I was gonna say, if you think
At
Cal
all.
Kestis is OP, wait until this motherfucker
At
gets like
all.
3 years
I
older.
I
Yeah.
don't like that. Although
Wait
I
until they
do
introduce the
understand.
Magus.
Although I do understand why they did that. With the dog, what was it?
Cosmo.
Cosmo.
Cosmo. I don't like Cosmo as a Guardian. I could do without the little other creature that was with. I don't need him as a Guardian.
So okay, so in other words, you've reached the opinion of the regular comic book reader of the Guardians of the Galaxy, like in the comic books, because no one gives a fuck about the Guardians in the comics.
Yeah, I'm
That's
not.
literally
I'm not anticipating this version of the Guardians. Maybe I'm jaded because I like this
Yeah,
the
what it
old
ended with,
version
it was
so
good.
much, but I'm not. I don't. All
right,
and I'm thoroughly against Adam Warlock as a Guardian at all. I
As
don't
what?
like that
As a Guardian?
as a Guardian. I don't like that.
He is a Guardian.
I understand that, but I don't like that. I want him to be
Okay.
on his
Independent.
own. I want him to be independent, roaming around freely, do whatever the fuck he wants. I don't want him to be bound to a Guardians.
Could you
movie
imagine him
or
in a movie
whatever.
by himself? That would be the shit.
I would like
Crap,
that.
dude.
Then you should
Be the
not
Marvel.
read the
don't
original
read his
Infinity
comic.
Story.
Yeah. Okay. So
Don't
I'm
do
gonna
it.
ask. I'm gonna ask Mike, and I'm gonna ask Trigger. Then, where would you like to see them take the Guardians team in the future series?
You want to go first?
What
Trigger?
series? What would you like to see come to life?
Yeah, what are you gonna do with this?
Yeah. Where do you go from here?
I know exactly where I'm going to go from here, but I want to hear Triggers first.
The
Okay.
negative verse.
Sir,
Alright.
sir, you know you have no real estate there without Reed Richards, dude. Zero real estate there without Reed Richards. That's literally his playground. You can't
But-
have
but who's
the
coming?
niggas without Reed
We're
Richards
fucking
fucking
getting
it up.
casting rumors now, so
Yeah.
But hold on 1 second. Do you realize this is just like a mashup? Like this wasn't even really thought out. This is just like James Gunn mashing something to leave before he leaves. Like this wasn't like really thought out. Like this was just something that he left in his last movie as a Guardians movie before he leaves. So it's like,
that,
what do you?
that leads into where I think this goes. So I think this goes because we slightly connected to these new guys in this last film, and they put together the team they have. Right, that's just the team they have, and we'll get the Annihilation Wave because the first thing the Annihilation Wave does is fucking kills Guardians and heroes in space. Annihilus
Everybody.
destroys, and we lose people. And then a new team of Guardians needs to be made that are specific to the situation, and they have to match that threat. And I think that's what we're going to get. That these Guardians will be around for a little bit. The Annihilation Wave will show, and then we'll get Nova, and then we'll get Philovel doing
A
something.
real fucking team,
We'll get the
bro.
real
That's
Guardian.
what I want. I
Yeah,
want a
and
real. This
Adam
is not a
Warlock will
real
lead
fucking
because
Guardians
he's
team,
gonna
bro.
go fight, Annihilus himself or something. That's what I think will happen. That's where I would take it. Like the next
All right, well-
movie is just fuck all death. Annihilus shows up and just wrecks shit. We see poor Cosmo beaten to hell, dying. That kind of a deal. Maybe Kraglin survives, saved by the Ravagers or something.
I was
But
gonna say,
Annihilus causes a new Guardians group to be built.
there'll have to be some moment where it's about bringing Peter Quill back, right? Because
Yeah.
it'll be like Rocket takes over and he's running the team, but it's not smooth, and you realize that you can't do it without the legendary Star-Lord or whatever they call him. Triggs, what about you, man?
I mean, I kind of hate to spoil. I mean, right now we're like in the spoilers, right? But like he's gonna return. It literally says Star-Lord will return. But in like what context, right? Like how exactly is he gonna return? And kind of like And one thing I want to disagree with, and I have to only just because I fucking love this character, dude. If they roll in Richard Rider into a Guardians like team and he becomes a Guardian, I'll fucking lose my mind. I will be so pissed off. Because
right now you
like
have the opportunity because Rocket's in charge of the Guardians and he's the coach.
I don't fucking care.
No,
I don't care. Like, dude, do not do that. Like, leave Richard Rider as like the solo as the soloist that he is. He
Nova needs his own series, is what Nova needs, and then he needs a guest.
And they were talking about it, weren't they?
Well, yeah, like if they had interacted with him through the Guardians movies, and he like helps them out and then bounces after that. Cool, dude. I get what I want. You still keep a Guardian story, blah blah blah, but he's not a Guardian. He's just an ally of the Guardians or whatever, dude.
This is Marvel, bro. You don't get what you get. You don't.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but you know what I do got? I got fucking solo Richard Rider in the comic books. So if so facto,
some of the best ones out there. They're really
And guess what he does in the Annihilation Wave? He fucking kills it in the Annihilation Wave.
He fucks shit up. Yeah.
What I would like to see them do is another trilogy set of the Guardians two Secret Wars, or at least like a duo. And what I would like to see is the first movie be the reincarnation of Thanos's consciousness into Star Fox, which was the whole new Asgardians of the Galaxy comic book, right? Which is where Star Fox held a big summit and he had the will and testament of Thanos of like what he was leaving behind with his kingdom.
What's the and then all of a sudden Star Fox? What was his name? Yeah,
you see, and they brought him in the last movie and they don't know what to fucking do with him in the Eternals. Like, what are you gonna do with him? Like, why bring
Harry
him
Styles.
now when Harry Styles? Like, why bring him now when Thanos is dead, other than him doing the will and testament to bring him back to life? And then he kind of brings all of these villains and big players in space, because apparently Thanos has a will and testament where he leaves certain parts of his treasure to different people, only to find out that he leaves a kind of like a ritual to take over the consciousness of Star Fox, and his consciousness gets downloaded into Star Fox and he comes back as Thanos. The Black Order comes back. They start doing their fucking big ruckus in space. You have Beta Ray Bill, you have Seraph, you have Thanos, you have Thor, you have the Cosmic Ghost, you have a bunch of people that are in this sport, but you have Adam Warlock, you have all the Guardians in it. I think that would be a really cool like introduction to like showing how the Guardians can play a big factor in the cosmic landscape. But the thing that I think is cool is, well, not cool as much, but I think I'm breaking my own heart here. We don't get Hyperion. And I think they're going to replace Hyperion with Adam Warlock. And it's going to be Adam Warlock and Thor in the end when they fight the Beyonders. And the reason why is it's so interesting that Groot is put in a father figure position, right?
I don't know if we're getting the Beyonders anymore, dude.
No, I think we are. When it comes to the Secret Wars story, I think we're going to get some type of Beyonder story, something close to it. But we're going to get that part where Thor and Hyperion fly in and then the battle world happens. But I think it's going to be Thor and Adam Warlock instead. And the father figure.
That's the movie where Major's going to show up and slap Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, that's the movie. He's gonna be like, bam, Secret Wars, reset, battle world. Just right when he slaps her, that's when the whole fucking thing goes black and resets time and shit. But I feel like that's what they're gonna do with that, because by far, I mean, you guys can tell me, we have World War Hulk references, we have Civil War references, we have the Spider-Man references from all the major storylines and plots, we have everything you can think of in the comic books that needs to be touched on is there in the movies, even though it's broken up into many pieces. But the next biggest thing that sets up for Secret Wars and Battle World is that ending of the multiverse with Thor and Hyperion in the end. Probably one of the greatest endings to a storyline ever, except you do not have a Hyperion character other than Adam Warlock. You have in that story, there's a scene where the higher evolutionary takes a bunch of children that are an alien race, and it pisses off Hyperion and Thor, and they fight the higher evolutionary to save the children. And then Hyperion becomes a father figure, which you got from the Drax character. So that's literally from one of the comic books in the end during the bromance with Thor and Hyperion. But now you have Drax being the father figure who doesn't want to be involved anymore. But you have Adam Warlock, who's this guy that can fly through space and not get hurt. It's a good setup. I don't know how far it's going to go because, again, I don't know what they're going to do with the Adam Warlock character other than Infinity Watch. That's the only other thing that I see happening is that they're going to go around. The Guardians are going to collect all the Infinity Stones, and every character is going to take care of one of them, just like the Infinity Watch comic books. That's the only. I don't see that happening either.
I'm with Trigger that Adam Warlock takes off. We get Richard Rider as a solo. We have his whole world mind, having to understand what that power is and becoming Nova Prime. And we get a whole new set of Guardians to fight the Annihilation Wave. And then we're going to get the bullshit line that happens in the main storyline compared to the Annihilation Wave when Star-Lord tries to go back and Nova go to Earth to try to warn them. And they didn't know that any of this was happening. No one cared off of Earth. And all these heroes have died stopping the Annihilation Wave, and none of Earth's heroes gave two shits. And I do think that's going to cause the friction there.
Yeah. I mean, Annihilation Wave is huge. That's the
dude. It's like the best Johnny Storm panel ever.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's so hard to think that between the Kang Dynasty, the Secret War story, that you can fit Annihilus Wave in the middle of it. That's so bonkers to me in my head. Would Marvel do it? Fuck yeah, they want to make money. You know, they're like, fuck it, we'll give it a try. We don't got no writers. Fuck it, we'll just ad-lib everything.
Yeah, something I want to give a shout out to. Robert says that he loves Howard the Duck. I honestly would love to see a Howard the Duck and Rocket Raccoon quick mini series or something. Like have them fucking get into some stupid ass
dude. Make it another Christmas special and then call it a day. No one gives a fuck about Howard the Duck. If you say that you do, you're lying to yourself.
Chill. I like the Howard the Duck movie. The original
you don't.
The 80s one?
No, you don't.
The 80s. The 80s Howard the Duck movie was fucking amazing, bro. Were you kidding me?
He's catching girls, dude. He's a fucking duck, dude.
He was fucking bitches. I'm sorry. He was laying chicks in the fucking movie, bro.
He's a duck and he was still getting it, man.
That movie was dope.
Get it, man.
I have a question really quick before we wrap it up. So Secret Wars is set for May 1st, 2026, right? Now I'm sitting here listening to you guys, right?
To the crazy shit, right?
I'm listening to all the crazy avenues you guys are going down, like the fucking speculative shit that you guys are talking about. That we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. How are they gonna fit this in less than 3 years? Tell me. How
3 years? I was telling you, like that was literally what I just said right now.
The Secret Invasion sets up a lot of the intrigue that the Skrulls are doing.
Okay.
You know, what the Super Skrull can do, how they attach to the Shi'ar Empire, and the greater identity of the cosmos.
Yeah.
You know, they have that band of Skrulls has the mentality that they have an overarching God that loves you. You know, he loves you. He loves you. It's what they push the entire book. And it really is one of my favorite Nick Fury lines where, you know, the Queen Skrull says he loves you. They say, well, who is he? It's like God. And Nick Fury's like, well, my God wields a hammer. And Thor's there ready to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
So I do think that what we see in Secret Invasion is going to tie these pieces together a little bit for a larger cosmic story. And that's where we're getting Sword in space, because this group is what's S.H.I.E.L.D. out there, and they'll be paying attention to all the fuckery going out in space.
So wow, man. I'm very familiar with both the 80s run of Secret Wars and the Jonathan Hickman run of Secret Wars. But who do you feel comfortable enough to pull off the better iteration in the next 2 years of Secret Wars? Do you guys have like a fan cast of who you would like to write? Not even direct, but just write the Secret Wars movie in the next two? Because to me, saying that you're gonna have a Secret Wars movie in like the next like 2.5 years sounds fucking mind blowing to me. Just because there's just no fucking way.
It feels all out of place right now.
It feels so out of whack right now. But if you were to have someone to write this, to have like your life and death matter of fact in like the hands of this person, like who would you have in writing this? This movie?
Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely.
Okay, that's a fucking great answer.
Who are they? I don't know who they are. Who are they?
They wrote Infinity War and
They wrote Infinity War in the game.
Oh, they're the normal team that writes the bigger event stories.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, fucking, that's who I would give it to, man, because it's the track records there. You know what I mean?
Okay, hear me out, right? Hear me out. Why not just let Jonathan Hickman do it?
Man, dude.
Because
that ship's
screenplays
already
are
sailed,
different than comic books.
Why? How?
That ship's already sailed, dude.
How?
Well, I mean, like I
They
said,
already wrote
dude,
his
you know,
masterpiece and they didn't follow it.
granted, I mean, like the masterpiece of the story is already there, and like the storyboard, right? You know, you have the panels and everything like that. But writing a screenplay is a whole lot different than writing a comic book.
But I think he already did it though. Like, so who better to take the pieces that you have to put his story together better than the person that fucking did it? Am I crazy for that?
If that was the case, they should have brought him in from the fucking very beginning. Why bring him in the
I
end?
understand that, but
Yeah, because Secret Wars and Time Runs Out are like his masterpieces.
To me, it's one of those things. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it was a masterpiece in the comics. Why fuck it up?
But because
I can see both Triggers and Brian's point here, and I don't think I would give it just to Hickman. I would get the Infinity War team and Endgame team and sit them with Hickman and let them all three work on it together.
That's kind of what I meant. Like,
that
like
would be
the whole
awesome,
thing.
man.
And I wouldn't at all be opposed to that, dude. I mean, like, if you got Jonathan Hickman to sit in that fucking writer's room and be like, okay, so like, this is how I laid out my story when I was originally writing this, blah blah blah. We can pick and choose, kind of be a little bit choosy, you know, with like these scenes, how this would go within like a 3-hour time frame, blah blah blah. Then these guys can put together a screenplay and a script, you know, in let's say 6 months between the two of them.
That's coherent.
That's like a fucking Hail Mary right there for Marvel, dude. I think that's like their last ditch effort. If they ever fuck up so bad, they're like, what we
dude, and I'm talking like a
Hickman.
fucking plate of just drugs too, just. And I'm telling you, bro, this has gotta be like this.
Brian, your mentality in that question is so good. That's exactly what I've said from like the first Captain America movie. Like, that's what I've been telling people is like, why didn't they literally just bring in like Hickman from the very beginning? If he wrote 20 something years of Marvel universe already, you can, and he'll come in and write.
Knows it better. Like who?
Yeah, like who? Why not?
Service would work.
Why not? That's fucking nuts. Mike Betancourt, what do you think, man?
You know, I'm with Brian and Trigger. I would take a combination of their ideas. I'd have the solid team with a solid track record, and I'd bring in Hickman, and I'd sit them all in a room, give them whatever they need, seclude them, and say,
figure it out.
This fucking master story, and you make it screen time. And that's literally the problem here, because you have the Bible that Hickman has given us, but you need the ability to take those comic panels and make them functional film scenes with transitions and emotional shots and the right cinematography for you to believe what these characters are going through. Yeah, because there's a disconnect between what a person with a comic book will accept compared to a person watching a film, especially within the mainstream. You know, the vast bulk of us on the chat are comic nerds. We all love our specific stories and we love our specific books, and we are okay staring at a solid panel and feeling emotion. And most people aren't. I mean, I have my poor mother. I tried to have her read 30 Days of Night because she likes vampire stories. Like, I can't look at the pictures. It just no. I was like, Mom, it's a fucking vampire story. Like, this is the story you should be reading.
Yeah.
You know, and I do think the combination of, you know, a proven track record like Triggers is pushing, plus Hickman sitting in the room with him, will give us a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, I think especially right now in the Marvel landscape, they need to kind of pull from all resources to make it work. Because, like, dude, I didn't even consider that. Like, Secret Wars in 2 years.
It's literally a year, like almost like 2 years, less than 2 years.
Just knowing that we made it through phase 4 and it wasn't as hot as it was supposed to be.
It's going to get pushed back, by the way.
Yeah. And then, I kind of feel like it will be. Same thing with like Kang Dynasty and shit. Because we got Kang Dynasty in the middle of that. And we're supposed to get that within 2 years. And we finished phase 4 and it was not good.
From what we have right
Guardians,
now. From what we have right now, how the fuck do we get Secret Wars?
Yeah, how do you get Secret Wars out of that? Like, that's like Trigger, Mike. Like, how do you get Secret Wars out of Phase 4 and the Guardians movie?
I think the Secret Invasion that we're gonna get is to set all that shit up, and then the Marvels.
That's a TV series, though. Like,
but that's the thing, though, and kind of to like what Mike is saying. We now have more avenues to pull from because now we have TV shows to pull from. You know, we have more avenues to start pulling from, and you know, these avenues can be told simultaneously through different mediums.
True.
You see, and that's how Disney fucking fixes its damn Disney Plus numbers. You're gonna have to, if you want to get the whole story, you're gonna have to subscribe. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and that's also, and I completely understand where like the main populace comes from, where they're like, that's bullshit, complete trash. Why should I have to pay fucking $17 a month or whatever? Yeah. At the fact that I have to pay for Disney Plus to understand what's going to happen in Secret Wars.
Yeah,
on the launch of Disney Plus, Kevin Feige said you do not have to buy Disney Plus or to be able to follow the Marvel. We were like, get the
actually, you know what? Just to kind of throw a little bit of I'm not going to say a lot, but just a little bit. That's what happened to a lot of people with Guardians because a lot of them didn't watch the Christmas special. So they didn't know about Peter Quill being sisters with Mantis. They didn't know about the whole thing about them buying Nowhere. There was a little bit off, and it's not a big thing, but it was enough for people to be like, how did this happen from Guardians? Like, I don't remember this shit. You know, Guardians 2 wasn't even anything close to that. So
you got to give it to Gunn also because it's their quick mentions, but he mentions all that shit.
Everything is cleared out of the film. He does gloss over it through the script and stuff like that. Even though it's not, even if he didn't watch it, he still covered most of it. So that was good. It was still coherent of a story. But yeah, guys, I think that's absolutely correct. It's kind of scary to see that Secret Wars is, 2 years away.
2.5 years, 2.5 years away, give or take.
But it's great to see that we got a fantastic fucking Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And if you guys haven't seen it in the comment section, man, you are missing out. Go check it out. It's at theaters. Highly recommended. Really great film and a great end to the Guardians series. Michael Betancourt. I gotta say, man, dude, it's always a fucking pleasure having you on. It never fails that when you get on, it's dicey as fuck. The conversation is super crazy. Mike, let us know again what's coming up with your event. Let us know everything about it that you can and anywhere people can find information.
Yeah, we have a Facebook. We are called the Psychotronic Spree. We are the only sci-fi and horror 18 plus adult only event in South Texas. Will be happening in Mercedes, Texas. The first one is June 17th and 18th. We'll be dropping the images this weekend of our second final girl for the show, as well as our first guest, Mr. Kirk Thatcher, who plays the one of the bounty hunters from Werewolf by Night. He's also a special effects artist from Gremlins 2. He was in quite a few Star Wars films. It's going to be interesting. I'll showcase everything.
There might be some alien clowns from outer space, maybe.
Maybe down the line. I can't say yes and I can't say no. Because, NDAs do what they do to me. But,
I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys, man. Like I said, I know Abel's a big fan, and I know he's a big horror guy. So I know you guys are going to push really hard. Where can people find information and tickets and stuff like that for you guys?
Yeah, go ahead and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Psychotronic Spree. We'll be launching tickets most likely on Sunday as we finish off the terms and conditions for that and the liability waivers. Because like I said, this is adults 18 plus and only. So if you are going to attempt to bring your teenage child to the show, you will have to sign a release form to bring that child in the door.
Hashtag no kids.
Yeah, this is
but you can bring them, but hashtag your responsibility. Hashtag your responsibility. Mike, I got to say thank you so much for being on the show with us. We appreciate it. Every time you come on, it's such a fucking thrill and a pleasure. Always a pleasure and an honor to have you, man.
Yeah, thanks guys. I enjoyed being here, and you're raising my blood pressure. And I think I'm going to do trigger on Discord.
It's like I always have to make sure that I bring the right conversation.
What was that, man?
So I'm going to bug you on Discord and ask who you want to play Nova.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, but that'll be in Discord. So guys, get on Discord and watch it.
If you don't have Discord, you ain't going to find out. We're not going to bring that shit up on the show. You guys got to find us on Discord. Discord, join the server. The Average Boys with a Z.
Getting on Discord, I'm going to tell you who right now.
Yeah, straight. Everybody in the comment section, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. As usual, you're so fucking cool. We appreciate every one of you. To all our extraordinary listeners, thank you for tuning in with us on this awesome Friday night again. As always, every Friday, 9 o'clock to midnight, sometimes later, sometimes earlier. It ranges. Brian Triggs,
1 a.m. for
appreciate you, boys. Yeah, for Brian, it's 1 a.m. He's a fucking soldier, man. But it's because you're on the show, Mike. You're a special guest to us. Like, we love just.
I gotta stay late.
It's for Mike, dude. It's for Mike.
If Mike B is on,
I'm so happy. I'm so happy because Brian, you're not even drinking right now, right?
No.
Neither am I, man. I'm not even sauced up yet.
Because by now he would have been like, "Yo, I gotta go piss. I'm leaving."
I gotta piss, though. I gotta piss twice. Don't get me wrong. I gotta piss.
Yeah. That would have been it. I know Brian too well, man. Guys, I gotta say, I love you guys, man. You guys are so good. Brian Triggs, I'll see you guys again next Friday. Michael Betancourt, always a pleasure. If you ever want to jump on the show, you just got to hit us up. If you ever want to just shoot the shit with us, everybody in the comment section, thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
Even if you're in the comments and be like, put my ass on, we're going to be like, hell yeah.
We'll get you up in here, man. Guys, we got to say what's up. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you guys again next Friday here on the Average Boys Podcast. Laters.